I'm Nate Puderwell with your sports update. It's moving day out at Augusta as we head into round 3 of the Masters. Rory McIlroy takes a commanding 6-shot lead into the weekend at 12 under after finishing 7 shots under par yesterday. Patrick Reed and Sam Burns are 6 shots back, with Tommy Fleetwood, Shane Lowry, and Justin Rose all 7 shots back. Rory and Burns tee off at 250. The CBJ return to the ice tonight, still cleaning the playoff chances. They're in Montreal tonight to take on the Canadiens. Puck drops at 7. Catch extended fan coverage beginning at 6 o'clock. The Redlegs look to bounce back after getting crushed by the Angels 10-2 last night. They square off again at 4:10 this afternoon out at Great American Ballpark. And the Guardians look for some payback in Atlanta tonight against the Braves. Parker Messick set to take the mound for the Guardians today against the Braves' Martin Perez. First pitch comes your way at 7:10. Bringing sports news weapons to the Fan, Ohio Sports Destination.
The Fan is live and local with Fan Sports Saturday. The Fan Sports Day of the Week. Oh, this is some clever branding. Here's your host, place, name, here.
All right, so there's only one thing more spring in Central Ohio than the spring game. Jeff Thidoff, what is it?
I'm guessing it's the Masters.
Yeah. No. In Columbus.
In Columbus?
Yes, in Central Ohio. Ohio State's spring game is 1B. In terms of things in the spring that are just right.
It's Tee to Green.
It's double bogey blues.
Yes.
The venerable Skip Mossick.
That's what it is.
As we were doing the trade-off here, I remember, because Ohio State's spring game is next weekend. We're only 1 week out, kids, that Skip will be doing Tee to Green from the press box at Ohio Stadium and then go right into Ohio State network coverage of the Buckeyes and the Buckeyes in the annual spring game. We got to keep the spring game the spring game. We got a great show.
Rieser loves the return of Tee to Green because Skip is the only person that Rieser follows that I have to zoom the camera out for.
I didn't know that, but I'll take it. Look, I've been vertically challenged for 30 years. I understand these things. That's why I'm standing for this. Today's all about chasing, right? We're chasing the spring.
Yes.
We're chasing that feeling of being out of winter. We're chasing, if you're the Columbus Blue Jackets, and we're going to have to get into them today. Dylan Tyrer, the Blue Jackets Radio Network, he'll actually join us here in about 30 minutes. Big one tonight in Montreal. I hate using the phrase must win, but these are all now must get points.
Yeah.
Because you've got 5 NHL teams that can clinch a playoff spot. The wild card is out of reach. You're going to have to go through the Metropolitan.
Yep.
And that's the Philadelphia Flyers you're looking at. The Senators and the Bruins can clinch today. The Jackets will see the Bruins tomorrow at Nationwide, but they're playing in Montreal tonight. And had they had anything better than the effort, the effort was fine, I guess, the other night in Buffalo for the Blue Jackets. But 4 in the third.
Yeah.
You know, I understand Rick Bowness, and I think he's out of levers to pull.
I don't know what else you can do now. I don't know what, it's you yell, you try to motivate, you move people around, what else can you do?
So we'll get Dylan's thoughts on just what can he do? Because you've got 3 teams in the Jackets' future that all have things to play for.
Yeah.
I think you've got Sidney Crosby taking on Alex Ovechkin for like the 100th time today. Mm-hmm. But you got a lot of good NHL action, including the Blue Jackets in Montreal taking on the Canadiens at 7 o'clock. Dylan's doing extra work. He's got an hour pregame coverage of that. But again, he'll join us in about 30 minutes. Everybody's chasing Rory McIlroy. And Tito, for years, I think golf has chased the feeling they had when Tiger Woods was at his apex.
Yeah, it's been close with Scheffler sometimes.
Close.
Because it always goes back to that thing where, when Tiger was in his prime, it was the constant thing on sports talk radio even was, do you want Tiger or the field?
Yeah.
Tiger or the field. Mm-hmm. And we haven't had that except maybe with Scheffler since then, where it's been consistently, Scheffler or the field, kind of thing.
And I even think Scheffler was the betting favorite when the odds came out, and I think a ton of money came in on Bryson.
Yeah.
Right before Thursday's ceremonial tee shot. And then Bryson's 3D printed 5-iron
yes,
didn't help him. He misses the cut. But for McIlroy, he's into the weekend with a 6-shot lead at 12 under. Patrick Reed and Sam Burns wondering, what the hell do we have to do? And I think, Tito, if McIlroy is able to win this weekend, and it does feel like everybody else is just playing for second,
right?
McIlroy will become just the 4th golfer all time to go back-to-back at Augusta. The other 3, Jack Nicklaus in 65 and 66, Sir Nick Faldo,
yes,
89 and 90, and Tiger Woods 01, 02.
I mean, now you take Rory over the field. Obviously, the rest way, 6-shot lead coming in. But
I wonder what the odds are at this point.
Right, yeah, I know. But do you think Rory wins by more than 6 shots or less than 6 shots?
I think it's less, if you're asking me right now.
Yeah.
But I don't know how much less. Like, if you wanted to put 4.5 strokes.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe, yeah, I'd say 4.5.
You would take...
I'd take the over. I'd say 5.
Over. So you think he wins by 5, not by 6 or more.
What do you think? Because the way he closed out his second round with 3 straight birdies.
Right.
So that gave him on the day a 65. He started a 67 on Thursday. And even after that 67 Thursday, here's McIlroy talking about how winning at Augusta last year gave him confidence and calm for this 90th edition of the Masters.
I said this when I came in on Tuesday. I think winning a Masters makes it easier to win your second one. It's hard to say because there's still shots out there that you feel a little bit tight with, and you have to just stand up and commit to making a good swing and not worry about really where it goes. But I think it's easier for me to make those swings and not worry about where it goes when I know that I can go to the champions locker room and put my green jacket on and have a Coke Zero at the end of the day.
I mean, the picture that he paints in that is where you've had a day, right? Mm-hmm. It's either it's a hard day at work or a long day or maybe even a good day. You get to go into your locker room or you go home, you sit on your couch and you have the beverage that pleases you the most. And I'm sure he'd rather have a glass of red wine after the Thursday round, but a Diet Coke's probably second on that list for him. Like, we can all understand having been in those situations, but on the golf course, I think we're all Robert McIntyre.
Right.
Where just things go wrong and we just want to flick people off and shout expletives, and you can't do that at Augusta. Obviously, he got reprimanded for it. But just the idea that McIlroy winning last year makes it so much easier for him to win something that we all know, even having not played Augusta, is ridiculously challenging.
Outside of, and this is off the top of my head, show research, something that escapes me sometimes. I was talking about this research. Jack in 86, he won that tournament down the stretch. Mm-hmm. Somebody else didn't lose it. When Norman choked it away in 96 to Faldo, that was as much about Norman as it was about Faldo. It's a tough course to try to force a comeback on. Usually it's got to be the other way. It's got to be the guy in front falling back more than the guys chasing him making a huge run. I mean, the Jack thing at the, in that last, and that back 9 and 86, it's second to none in my opinion. But like, even go back, the biggest lead that's ever was blown, I think it was a 6-shot lead, maybe an 8-shot lead that Ken Venturi had. And he was an amateur at the time. Going into the last round, he had a 4-shot lead as the amateur, and then had 6 bogeys and 7 holes around the turn there, and then ended up losing that tournament. Like, it's usually, it's got to be a combination of that. If Rory plays par golf, he's going to win this thing.
He's winning.
Yeah.
And that, I mean, that's got to be the easiest place to be in until it's not.
Yeah.
But you do feel the way the weather sits, the way the course has been playing. Yeah. It's going to be the same tomorrow or today and Sunday as it was Thursday and Friday. McIlroy begins his third round at 2:50. Him and Sam Burns are going to be the final pairing of the afternoon. So Patrick Reed's also 6 back. He goes at 2:39. He's paired with Justin Rose. Rose is 6 off the lead at 5 under. You've also got Tommy Fleetwood at 5 under, Shane Lowry 5 under, and a gaggle of golfers at 4 under. I was trying to find Scotty Scheffler's at even. He's going to go at 12:15 this afternoon. But this for Rory, if he's able to win today or win this weekend, there's maybe a little bit of Tiger magic that can be recreated in an era where all the news about Tiger is bad news.
Yeah. But I don't think we'll ever.
No, you're never going to get back to it at its apex. But I think you can for the PGA. And Rory's been one of those figures that really kind of saved the PGA at a moment where he could have taken the largest bag ever offered to an actual golfer. Because giving it to Tiger, I think, would have been very much just they're paying for Tiger Woods. Yeah. Live Golf would have bought the golfer, Rory McIlroy, to compete. They'd have bought the golfer, Tiger Woods, to just, hey, we've got Tiger on our thing. Right. And it would have been a gimmick because outside of the 2019 Masters, Woods just isn't, a full-time competitive golfer. But McIlroy stayed with the PGA Tour. And McIlroy was kind of the leader in that group. And what you've seen from Live Golf is nothing because nobody's watching Live Golf.
Yeah.
And so the legacy that McIlroy has been building over the last 5 years, this won't be the culmination of anything necessarily, but maybe the start of something.
Rory, more likable or less likable than Scheffler? Which one's more likable, do you think?
Scheffler is more.
He's more likable.
Because I don't play golf. I'm a casual golf fan. Watching Scheffler on Friday, I think it was, walk out to the putting green with like a couple of those sandwiches in his hand, like me.
Right,
like I'm Robert McIntyre. I'm Scotty Scheffler.
Right.
I'm normal dude who wants to swear at everything and eat fun sandwiches. I can't identify. I can't relate to McIlroy.
Okay.
And that's, I think, the thing with Bryson.
Yeah.
Is what's gotten him so popular over the last couple of years is he's got so much of his content that's available to everybody. Where he has YouTube videos and he has kids watching his TikToks and Instagram and he's talking about 3D printing golf clubs.
It's amazing.
And Rory's just not doing any of that.
Right.
So for a casual, I think it's one of those two, less McIlroy, but hard to ignore when he's doing something this historic.
To play a little devil's advocate, just for Tito was saying, if at this point in the Masters you're hoping for a guy to lose the lead, if there's one guy that can lose the lead, it's Rory.
And I think golf fans, there would be a lot of golf fans okay with that because the Schadenfreude on Sunday, if he is to choke it away, would be just as compelling.
It's just as fun to watch.
Just as compelling as it would be for him, to pull away with this thing or to maintain a 5-6 shot lead going into Sunday. So plenty of Masters updates throughout the afternoon. We're on till 1 o'clock because we, as always, will acquiesce to Skip Mossick when Tee to Green hits the fan because that's your sign of spring.
He's a godfather.
Ohio State spring game coming up in a week. There's a very busy past couple of weeks for Ohio State at the Woody Hayes Athletic Center. They're trying to thread a very fine needle with 51 new players, but also guys that you're going to rely upon in the fall, not available because of injuries. And so it'll be fascinating. You'll hear from some of the particulars. You'll hear from Ryan Day, Carlos Lachlan. The running back situation is going to be great to you don't have any real concern. You just have questions.
Yeah,
and
unknowns.
So some of these things will probably have to wait till the fall, but you'll get kind of an early look on what the running back's going to be maybe at the spring game next week.
Yeah.
Because I don't think Legend Bay's even been fully healthy the entirety of spring. Bo Jackson was made available yesterday, but he's been out with a shoulder, Isaiah West. So other guys, the seventh-year running back from Florida, you'll be able to get to see new faces, players that you probably won't be called upon in the fall.
Yeah.
We also, the Blue Jackets, as I mentioned earlier, Dylan Tyrer is going to join at 10:30. The Columbus Aviators look to avoid 0-3. They're in Dallas taking on the Renegades tomorrow at noon. So we'll get into a little bit of what they have to do as a team to make year 2 an exciting thing for people in Central Ohio to want to go to. Because you don't have to win. You don't have to win all of your games, but you can't lose all of them. So 0-2 could become 0-3 if they fall in Dallas. Tay Martin, 81 for your Aviators. He's the wide receiver of that team. Will join us coming up at 11:30. But the basketball Buckeyes had the portal open up this week, and they've been busy over the last 24 hours. We'll discuss that next. Sports Saturday on The Fan.
We know everything about you. We know you love the Buckeyes. We know you love the Jackets. We know you're wearing a red shirt. I just freaked the hell out of someone. The Fan.
When you take pride in your property, clean, professional-grade cut says it all. This spring, don't just mow the lawn. Cultivate a yard you're proud to own. Get the Bobcat ZT 2000 with payments as low as $99 a month. Or go pro with the Bobcat ZT 6000 for as little as $218 a month. Bobcat Enterprises has the mower you need. Visit bobcatent.com to find your local dealer because you deserve a Bobcat.
Recently, our company softball team lost the big game by 1 run. Then Dale tried to console us with the quote, "Winning isn't everything." Dale's a loser. I play to win, like early payout from Bet365. If my team goes up big, I get paid out instantly, even if they blow the lead later. Sound familiar, Dale? Bet365. Winning is everything. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-MY-RESET. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Ohio. T&Cs apply. In-app only.
Looking to sell your home? Don't pay 6% commission. Call my guys at Sell for 1% Realtors. They're full service, not a do-it-yourself kind of thing. On average, customers save over $10,000. Give them a call, 614-451-6616. That's 451-6616.
Spring cleaning isn't just for your house. It's for your life. If your job is getting old, it's time to clear the clutter and spring into IT. Go to My Computer Career.
My Computer Career helped me get the skills and certifications I needed to start a new life as an IT professional in months, not years.
Earn the certifications that top employers are looking for right now. Visit mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation to see if it's time to spring into IT. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
Spring is here, and there's no better place to make memories than the Columbus Zoo. See tigers up close, watch playful otters, and see the baby elephants in action. For a limited time, take advantage of our Zoo After 2 p.m. deal. Plan your adventure at columbuszoo.org.
I slept in a lot of different rooms, different beds, but none of them really felt like mine. I spent 14 years in foster care, mostly in group homes. And I never had much stuff because I always had to be ready to move. Why get things if you just have to let them go?
There are more than 100,000 children in foster care waiting to be adopted. The Dave Thomas Foundation for Adoption is working to help find them a forever family and a permanent home of their own.
Now I have my own room with walls that tell my story. I love hanging out in here. I play dress up with my sisters and I sing and make videos. But the best part, knowing I'll always have a place to go and a family that loves and supports me.
If you have room in your home or your heart, see how you can help at davethomasfoundation.org.
Enjoy more ways to save at Kroger, like low prices in every aisle. And you can clip and save more with digital coupons in the Kroger app. Plus, you can earn fuel points to save up to $1 per gallon at the pump. So it's always easy to save big. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Savings may vary by state. Fuel restrictions apply. See site for details.
Kroger makes it easy to save on fuel. Just redeem the points you've earned to save up to $1 a gallon at the pump. See store for details. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Hey there, friends. Bo Bishop here from my friends at High Bank Distillery Co. It's well known High Bank is my go-to when I want an award-winning whiskey, but did you also know that they make the best vodka in America? They have 3 incredible spots here in Central Ohio where the food is just as good as what's in the glass. They've got something for everyone, and get this, kids eat half off every Monday, so whether you're sipping on the best vodka in America or simply grabbing a meal with family and friends, High Bank delivers every time. Find a location and a menu at highbankco.com. Dine, drink, distill at High Bank.
Get ECO. Hey, Jerry, you know how we remind people not to be a sump pump grump this time of year?
I sure do. If people's sump pumps aren't pumpy, they sure can get grumpy.
And down in the dumpy.
But our $89 sump pump inspection can replace all that sump pump grumpiness with happiness.
Even if it doesn't rhyme.
Get ECO.
Our expert sump pump plumbers will make sure your sump pump is working to spec and ready to pump. We'll even do a camera inspection of your downspout drainage system to make sure there aren't any backups causing problems down the line.
And turn your sump pump grump into a flow-it-all, know-it-all.
Get ECO.
Jerry, I'm starting to think not everything we do has to rhyme.
But rhymes help people remember things they like, Aaron. I mean, you like hokey pokey, don't you?
I do like the hokey pokey.
Get ECO.
Eco plumbers, electricians, and sump pump technicians.
The Jackets hit the road for a battle with the Canadians. Live fan coverage starts Saturday night at 6.
Sponsored by Atlas Butler Heating and Cooling.
Proud to be your flagship home of the Columbus Blue Jackets. The Fan. Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
It will be picture perfect today with plenty of sunshine and rather light winds. Temperatures near normal with a high of 64. Tonight, temperatures drop down to the mid-40s, but it is clear and calm. It will be warm and windy on Sunday, a high of 81, close to the record high of 86, and we'll see plenty of sunshine. We do expect warm weather to continue into next week. I'm meteorologist Ashley Smith on 97.1 The Fan.
If you've recently seen a photo of an older Baker Mayfield fresh off a bender, it's just Bo Bishop. Bishop and Friends.
Weekdays from 9 to noon.
The Fan. Just because it's the weekend doesn't mean we shut up. This is Fan Sports Saturday.
No, if anything, we talk more. Eric Rieser, Jeff Thidoff. You heard Nate in the update. Bad night for Ohio baseball teams. Reds got bombed at home. Guardians got bombed in Atlanta. It's fine. It's only April.
It's not. If they win, hey, yeah. If they lose that, who cares?
It's exactly how
Right,
the
yeah.
first 2 months of the season go.
Right.
Every season.
As a Reds fan, I say that every year.
Yeah, it's only April. And then you worry about it in September or October where you're looking at the standings and you're 1 or 2 games. You're like, wow, that could have helped.
Right, yeah.
Back in April.
Right.
That loss against the Braves, I think all 3 teams, I don't know what the Anaheim Angels of Los Angeles, what their record was going into the series, but the Reds, the Guardians, and the Braves were 8-5. So 8-6 for Cleveland is a fine place to be.
Sure it is.
Considering they have one of the lowest payrolls in baseball. And even like the Pittsburgh Pirates surprised everybody this week where they signed like one of their
Connor Griffin. They signed the young shortstop who's he's supposed to graduate, I think, high school this year. Or maybe it was last year. He's supposed to graduate. He graduated a year early though.
Of course.
And now he's got the 9-year, $140 million deal.
It's a good job out of everybody because they're going to get locked out next year. So you don't know where your paycheck's coming from there.
Right.
It locks him up with the organization, so he gets his money now.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I don't think Paul Skeens is going to listen, but it at least sends the message to him that we're going to try to build an actual team.
And then on top of that, too, if you get to a point in, say, 4 years from now, where you're sure, look, he'll still be cheap. Conor Griffin will still be cheap 4 or 5 years from now, obviously. But it makes him more tradable.
Definitely makes him more tradable.
With that kind of
contract,
salary,
yeah. And you never, like the 10-year deals, you never know how it's going to pan out in 5 years.
Right.
So good job at everybody in getting that done. You heard there in the weather update that it's going to be beautiful this weekend, so get out while you can. If you are free on Sunday, our friends at M3S Sports are going to be doing the Ohio State 4-miler.
Mm-hmm.
So also if you need to park on campus Sunday, just understand that a lot of portions of that area are going to be blocked off. There'll be about 15 to 20,000 of us.
It's amazing.
We'll be down there getting people registered for our event, the Fan 5K, on June 20th.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll be there. Tito will be there. I'll be there. T-Bone will be there. Tyvis will be there. You will not be there. I can't confirm that.
No, you can.
I should just volunteer you.
Well, that's fine. You can volunteer me.
You're not going to be there.
I got youth sports all day tomorrow.
I thought those were usually on Saturdays.
The kid's got a soccer game today. He's got a flag football game and a soccer game tomorrow.
Okay. So you won't be there.
I don't even know what time it is. I just say it out loud because it's in the morning, I'm sure, which means I probably could be there. But son's got a noon flag football game and like a 4 o'clock soccer game.
So if you're down on campus tomorrow, come say hi. We'll be at the stadium, the big giant football stadium that you can't miss that most of you have seen before. And a week out of Ohio State's spring game. That'll be noon next Saturday. So we will not be here in this time slot. Now you'll have Ohio State Sports Network coverage with Skip, Paul, and Jim. The transfer portal, we'll acknowledge it. Michigan won the national championship. That's one of the best basketball teams that's ever been assembled in terms of a 1-year run.
Yep.
All 5 transfers, mercenaries, but that's okay because that's the way things are in college athletics. Look, if Michigan fan is going to do the Ohio State bought their national championship, this is that. These are rules that you can play by and should play by. So all the credit in the world to Dusty May for acquiring the right players, getting them to buy into his system, and making the run that they did. And so for Ohio State and everybody else in the Big Ten, now you are chasing Big Blue. So I think they got some good news this week. They got a big man from Tennessee coming in from the transfer portal. Elliot Cadeau is coming back. Mara, who their other big man was, incredible in the tournament. And I think UConn on Monday was like 1 for 9 in shots that contested under the rim. And when you miss 13 straight threes and then can't get anything underneath, that's how it becomes a 69-63 win.
Right.
Like that's a slugfest that UConn wanted to get into. I just don't think they wanted to get into it with Michigan. So for Jake Diebler and company, that's who you're looking up at, and that's who you can chase. And miss me forever on Ohio State can't field a competitive football program best in the country and a competitive basketball program. Miss me on that. Because I do think with Kentucky, what it showed was you can spend all the money in the world, but if you allocate it poorly, it doesn't mean a damn thing.
Well, we saw it at Ohio State a couple years ago.
Right.
Ahmad Bradshaw, right? The ghost.
Yeah, that was a miss.
That was a miss. Michi. I don't know all the details. I don't know anything around it, but a miss.
From Ohio State spent money to acquire Michi Johnson's services. That's how the game is played.
Yeah.
It did not, the return on that investment was not what you wanted. So I think you can say it was a miss. Aaron Bradshaw, probably the biggest miss.
Allergic to paint.
It was bad.
Yeah.
So for Jake Diebler, it's acquiring proper portal persons for the 3rd year. I think he did a better job year 2 than in year 1.
Right.
you've also going to have to replace Bruce Thornton. I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you do all of that because Bruce Thornton was your leader. Bruce Thornton was your engine. Bruce Thornton scored the most points on the team.
Right.
Bruce Thornton was your floor general.
This is where you go Moneyball. Well, how do we replace him? In the aggregate. We got to replace the aggregates. How we're going to do it. The what? The aggregate, yes.
Yeah.
But if you look, I mean, it's been, would you say in the last 2 years, more misses than hits in the portal, right?
Yes. For Ohio State.
Yes,
Absolutely.
more misses
than hits. Yes.
Which what scares me every time I see a new name pop up. Just because, it was better this past season than the year before, but still.
You improved.
You did.
You improved, and that's right now all you can ask for.
Yeah.
Because I think this is going to be a build. It has to. This was Jake Diebler's first job.
Yeah.
And I understand the consternation. I get it. He was hired at the same time that Dusty May was hired.
Mm-hmm.
He was hired at the same time John Calipari was hired. You maybe could have gotten either of those coaches. That's neither here nor there. Jake Diebler is the head coach of this team. Jake Diebler's got Anthony Thompson and Alex Smith coming in. He's also got a pair of players from the portal on Friday. Kentucky center Andrea Jelovic comes over, 6'11" sophomore from Croatia. So I think Jagovin's from Croatia as well.
Yeah, you got two
so
there.
you got two big men from Croatia. He averaged 5.5 points, 4 rebounds per game for the Wildcats. He spent 2 seasons playing professionally in the ABA league overseas. So this is another quasi-professional who you're probably not coming to ask to play too much school. Also, Cal and Michigan guard Justin Pippen, yes, that Pippen family, committed to the Buckeyes. He'll be a junior this upcoming season. For Cal, last year, he averaged 14.2 points, 3.9 rebounds, 4.5 assists, almost 2 steals per game. So that's the most in the ACC. Yes, Cal's in the ACC for some reason. Shot just 37% from the field, so we'll have to bump those numbers up. But you needed a big. You need probably another big. You'd like to at least have some more depth there. The center from Baylor
that guy's coming.
Missed all last year with a knee injury. So if he's able to come back healthy, then fine. I think you've solidified your size, but you still need a floor general. I don't know if Justin Pippen's that.
Well, and the thing that scares me about Pippen is this is now 3 schools in 3 years. That always is a red flag for me. Just, it sends me back to when I think about the guys who, the former Buckeye quarterback commits who played for 5 high schools in 3 years and crap like that. Like anytime somebody makes that many moves, and it makes me pause a little bit. And what I'm hoping is that, like when Ohio State went out and got Bradshaw from Kentucky.
Yeah.
They were betting on turning him around, betting on him being better, being more like the 5-star than he was at Kentucky, and that never happened. And I hope that Ohio State is legitimately thinks this guy's really good right now in all these cases. Now, Pippen's got good numbers. He does. And he had decent year last year.
Those are good numbers for a backup point guard.
Yeah, right.
So you still haven't answered the most important question to me is who's your floor general next year?
Right.
It is not Junie Mobley.
No, it's not Junie Mobley.
So you've got time because the portal for the men close on April 21st for that. So that's that Tuesday. The women's portal closes on April 20th. There's still time. I know Ohio State's got a gaggle of Zoom interviews scheduled. I think there's some official visits that'll be taking place over the next week and a half. So there's still some time, but it was a good first day. You also found out the Buckeyes are going to open the 26-27 season in Provo, taking on BYU. So they're doing that as a likely return game coming to Ohio in a future season. So
neutral site game, they're calling it.
This will be neutral site.
Yeah, it's neutral site. It's still in Provo, but it's at the Jazz. It's at the
so that'd be more Salt Lake City.
Yes.
Yeah. Was it 45 north of Provo, I think?
Did they play it's still the Delta Center? It's not that anymore, is it? What do they play?
The Delta Center is where this game's going to be.
Okay, that's what it is. Okay,
so we'll have to check in the break, but we've got some news this week. They're making steps in the right direction. Ohio State still needs an assistant head coach. Ohio State still needs a general manager. So there's a lot of work to do, but good news, there's time to do it. Has time run out for the Blue Jackets? We'll get Dylan Tyrer on in 2 minutes. Sports Saturday on The Fan.
What can ADP do for small business? We help answer the business questions, like how do you track employee time? How do you do payroll taxes? Or what does compliance even mean? So small businesses can focus on bigger questions. Now florists can ask, can we invent another holiday to sell bouquets? Pizza shops can ask, how do we stuff a calzone into a pizza crust? And pool cleaners can ask, what is that thing in the filter? These are the questions you can focus on when ADP takes care of the business of your small business. ADP for small business.
The Reds are on the radio.
He caught it. No way. What a grab. Noelvi Marte. Ellie De La Cruz is on his horse, and they're waving him to the house. Suarez swings. He drives this. It is gone. Eugenio Suarez puts the Reds on top.
The quest for October baseball is underway. Hear all the action all season long on your home of the Reds.
Family owned and operated. It isn't all sunshine and rainbows. This is Dennis Sullivan, president of Care Heating and Cooling. Here's something you don't hear admitted very often. When you run a business with your family, you don't always get along with them. We argue, we debate, we have real conversations about the decisions that we make. But at Care, every conversation comes back to our priorities, doing right by our employees and our customers. Because when you treat your team like family, they take better care of the families they serve. And when you treat your customers the way you'd want your own family treated, trust follows. That mindset doesn't always maximize short-term profits, but it builds something better, long-term relationships. Today, more and more local companies are being bought by venture capital firms, where maximizing profits often leads to a sales-first mentality. Care is still family-owned and locally operated, so we can keep people, not profits, at the center of every decision. Care Heating and Cooling. Call 1-800-COOLING when you need a company you can trust.
If you haven't thought about Buckeye football today, I'm sorry to tell you that you're dead. Our condolences. Your home of the Buckeyes, the Fan. Instead of annoying national people talking to you this weekend, we've opted for annoying local people. This is Fan Sports Saturday.
Yes, it is. Rieser, Tito, and Nate rolling with you until 1 o'clock today. A big 3-game stretch to close out the regular season for your Columbus Blue Jackets, who sit only 2 points out of a playoff spot, the third-place position in the Metropolitan Division. A very busy day in the National Hockey League. 5 teams can clinch a playoff spot. You've got the Boston Bruins and the Tampa Bay Lightning today at 12:30. The Jackets will see the Bruins at Nationwide Arena tomorrow, but you've got to focus on tonight if you're Rick Bowness and company, and that's in Montreal, taking on the Canadiens at 7 o'clock. We'll have fan pregame coverage starting at 6 o'clock with this man, our next guest, Dylan Tyrer, the Blue Jackets Radio Network. He joins us on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. Dylan, thanks so much for the time this morning. Before we get into the nitty-gritty with the next couple of days, back on Tuesday when the Blue Jackets beat the Red Wings in that shootout, Adam Fantilli had the goal that forced overtime with 16 seconds left to go. And after the game, he talked about Monahan winning the faceoff that really set things up for that overtime forcing goal. And he used the phrase, Monty bearing down on the dot. And Dylan, I had never heard a faceoff phrased that way. And he said it in a very hockey phrasing. Do you, in your daily interviewing these guys, talking with different coaches, different players, do you ever get phrases you go I've never heard him say like that before?
It's funny that you bring that up because I feel like that's a go-to for Adam. Like he'll always say, bear down about this, bear down about that. I think I've been around the Blue Jackets long enough that I'm not too surprised when guys say things. So I'd like to think that I'm mostly familiar with every possible hockey term that could be thrown out. But hey, bearing down on the dot, I'm not sure I've heard those words uttered before. So that might be a new one.
Dylan, as you look at this team getting ready again for the game against Montreal coming up here, and the way the offense has completely disappeared during this streak. And recently I talked about this before, what else can Rick Bowness do or say to change things? And if I don't know what else they can do strategically, personnel-wise to turn this around. It's all just on the players now, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the coach and the staff have done everything that they can, I think, to try to get this team going. I mean, heck, Bowness put every line and every pair in a blender to start this week in that game against Detroit. You know, the Blue Jackets had guys playing with each other that hadn't played together all season. So, you know, it worked for that game, but obviously it didn't work out against the Buffalo Sabres. And, you know, that's a tough game to kind of think about and comprehend what happened against Buffalo. You had the Sabres' third-string goalie playing. The Blue Jackets put 36 shots on him. They had their opportunities. How many posts did they hit in that second period? But they couldn't beat this guy. So, you know, they generated lots of offense, but they didn't generate any goals, which is extremely frustrating. So I don't necessarily know where you go from there if you're a coach and you're like, all right, what can we do now? It's just down to the players, you know, stepping up. And that has been an issue, I think, down the stretch that, some of these guys are just making uncharacteristic mistakes. You think about Charlie Coyle in a play that he made that really led to the game being put away against Buffalo. He turned the puck over in the neutral zone. The Sabres go the other way, and they score. Charlie Coyle has been one of the Blue Jackets' most responsible players all season long. There were a couple of turnovers by Zach Werenski in that game that led to Buffalo Sabres goals. So it's like it's got to be the players in these final 3 games. They said it at the beginning of this year that they were so desperate to make the playoffs. They didn't want to finish this season the same way they did last year, missing by a point or two. Well, they find themselves in the exact same position, and they've got 3 games to try to change that. So it is completely on them. You're right.
Dylan Tyrer, our guest of the Blue Jackets Radio Network. Hear him on the pregame coverage of tonight's Jackets and Montreal Canadiens game starting at 6 o'clock. Face-off again in Montreal at 7. It's almost a good thing, I guess, Dylan, that they've got 3 of these kinds of games in 4 days, so where you have a shutout against Buffalo, or you get shut out in Buffalo, and I think it was Werenski afterwards, or maybe it was Boone, who said they don't have time to be frustrated with it. What, if anything, from a lineup standpoint, do you see being different about tonight's game? I mean, I would assume Jet in net the rest of the way, but what can be done from a Rick Bowness perspective?
Yeah, and that kind of goes back to what Tito asked there. I'm not quite sure there is a whole lot that can be done by Rick Bowness. The Blue Jackets need to do a better job of getting the puck out of their own end and getting it up the ice. I think that's the number one thing. And like I said, a couple of bad turnovers that way led to Buffalo goals the other night in that Blue Jackets loss. It's just got to come down to the Blue Jackets outwilling the opponent in these next few games, and that goes back to the players, right? Like, this is your season. These 3 games are it. You're not controlling your own destiny. They need a little bit of help from the teams in front of them in Philadelphia and the Islanders. So all the Blue Jackets can do is control themselves here. And, it's not like it's going to be an easy game tonight against Montreal. This Canadiens team is red hot right now. Cole Caulfield just scored 50 goals. This guy can fill the back of the net, and he's not the only one. The Canadiens have lots of star power in that lineup. They're one of the best young teams in the NHL. They've gotten solid young goaltending from a former Ohio State Buckeye in Jakub Dobish. They have Jacob Fowler, another young goalie who's coming up through the ranks. He's going to be really good. So, I mean, it is not going to be easy for the Blue Jackets in this game, but it is pure will at this point, right? Like, I don't think X's and O's can change anything, and you're seeing that. The Blue Jackets have tried to change the X's and O's a little bit. They've tried to change the personnel, and not much has changed out there. When it comes down to it at this time of year, the Blue Jackets' best players have to be exactly that. They were when they won the game against Detroit. They were not when they lost the game against Buffalo. Let's see if they can be that again tonight at the Bell Center.
So, Dylan, I know that at the trade deadline, Don Waddell talked to the players that were unrestricted free agents after the season, and he had a lot of questions. He said about, is Rick Bowness going to be back next year? Is Rick Bowness going to be back next year? That kind of thing before, as they were part of the negotiations, although none of the deals ended up eventually getting signed. But do you think, or what do you think these next 3 games, what kind of impact that'll have on whether Bowness comes back next year or not?
Well, I mean, if the Blue Jackets are able to finish strong, I think that would obviously help his case. But in reality, I think it's going to come down to what Rick Bowness wants to do as well, right? He's an older guy, but he's made it very, very clear that he wants to coach in the NHL, and he likes being in Columbus. I need to talk with Don Waddell to kind of understand what his vision is, and I'm trying to do that in the next couple of days, have that conversation. So, I think it's going to take Don and Bowness getting together and kind of understanding the vision for the Blue Jackets going forward. But, hey, if this team, the vibe right now is obviously different than if the Blue Jackets are able to win these last 3 games and get into the playoffs and go on a run. If that happens, you're thinking, all right, Rick Bowness is the man for this team. He's gotten them back on track. But, at this point, he got them back in the race, which is amazing, but they faltered in the last couple of weeks here. So I think it's got to be that conversation between Don Waddell and Rick Bowness to see where each of them is in terms of the future of the Blue Jackets and go from there. But, I like what Bowness has done with the Blue Jackets despite this little stretch of losing. I think the players respond to him well and like his style. So we'll see if it all works out. But, I would not be mad to see Bowness back.
Dylan, you think it's a good thing that tonight at 7 you've got, as the Jackets are playing Montreal, the exact same time the Flyers are playing Winnipeg? So, because I know games are starting at like 12:30 today, so you kind of don't know what's going on in the really only game you're looking at. Like, you think, is that a benefit for these players?
I don't really think the players think about that too much, but Rick Bowness has said, like, they always are paying attention. The coaching staff is, at least, to what's going on around the NHL. Like, even, they'll come in during the intermissions and see what the scores are in the other games just to kind of see where they stand, right? So I don't think the players are necessarily too focused on that. For us as viewers and for fans out there that like watching the game and they're able to kind of, keep an eye on the other game, I think it's great. But honestly, like for kind of the perspective of what do we need to do going into this game, it might help for the other game to be played earlier in the day, just so you kind of have that frame of mind. But like I said, with the players, I don't think it matters too much. I'm just thinking from that perspective of, a coach or maybe even a fan out there. You like to know what you have to do, right? So it's like, oh, the Flyers lost earlier today. If we win, we're going to be here. But it's kind of the same thing, right? If you're playing at the same time, you're just not – you're going into it not completely knowing.
Going back from the last year's offseason to right now, do you think there is a move that Don Waddell wishes he could take back?
Are you trying to get me to talk about Yegor Chinakhov?
I was trying to, yes. See, that's why you're a pro, man. You know.
Yeah. I mean, it's a tough one, right? Because you see Chinakhov have lots of success with the Pittsburgh Penguins, but at the same time, it just wasn't working here with the Blue Jackets. And I know that you changed the coach, and maybe that could have changed something, but Chinakhov had requested the trade, right? He wanted out. So he got out. I mean, hindsight's obviously 20/20 with that because he's exploded with Pittsburgh and is playing well with Evgeny Malkin. But I just don't think, you can look at it like that if you are Don Waddell or even if you're a Blue Jackets fan, right? Because, when it comes down to it, the Blue Jackets essentially traded Chinakhov for Mason Marchment. And Mason Marchment's been an impact player with the Blue Jackets since he was acquired. I know they weren't traded 1-for-1, but the draft capital essentially matches up that you traded for Marchment and got for Chinakhov. So when you look at it in that regard, I think it obviously makes things a little bit clearer. Sure, it would be nice to have a guy that scored 18 goals in 41 games, but the Blue Jackets don't, and you cannot guarantee that would have happened with the Blue Jackets. So, while it might hurt for some people to see Chinakhov doing what he's doing with Pittsburgh, it really is what it is. I'm not too bothered about it because he wasn't doing that with the Blue Jackets when he was here.
Yeah, all you can do is really look forward, Tito.
That's fine.
Quit looking in the rear view. It's not going to get you into the postseason if you keep doing that. Dylan Tyrer, our guest. Again, the Canadiens for the Blue Jackets tonight at 7 o'clock, and you've got Boston in town tomorrow, and then Tuesday you wrap the season against the Washington Capitals. Dylan Tyrer, the Blue Jackets Radio Network, our guest. Dylan, thanks so much for the time today, bud. Enjoy the hockey today, and we'll just one game at a time.
Yep, you guys too. I appreciate it. Hopefully the Blue Jackets are able to get a win and get in. Go Blue Jackets.
It's tough. It's very tough because you want so bad as a fan to have this, the way that they were playing as soon as Rick Bowness comes in.
Right.
You want the payoff. And I didn't want to, you hesitate to say what I'm about to say, but in 25 years of Blue Jackets hockey, if they're unable to make the postseason, it's an all-time faceplant.
Well, but think how much your perspective would be changed right now if it had flipped, as far as if they started off playing like this under Bowness, and then now we're at this point, rallied, like played this great hockey now, we'd have a much different vibe than we have going in these last 3 games.
Cool. It's another season where the Blue Jackets were garbage in February, and then when all the pressure was off, started playing well.
Yeah.
Never seen that before.
No.
Trying to paint the turd gold.
I know.
Trying to put as many coats as you can. But thanks to Dylan for giving us a little bit of his time. He's got the hour pregame tonight on the Fan at 6 o'clock. What Wisconsin did this week, I think, is a bad omen for the state of Ohio. We'll discuss that next. Sports Saturday on the Fan.
We're the highest rated sports radio station in America. There's no joke there. We just are. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Great Lakes Hyundai. The savings are Spring into savings at Great Lakes Hyundai. Right now, drive your new Hyundai with payments as low as $94 per month for a 2-year lease. Get spring lease savings on every model from Elantra to Palisade. Plus, every new Hyundai comes with owner assurance and America's best warranty. A 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain coverage. Dublin or Columbus or glakeshyundai.com. With approved credit. Payment on 26 Elantra SC. $39.95 down plus tax title first month's payment. 7,500 miles per year ends $430.
Coffee, sandwich, hash browns. Tired of the same breakfast routine? Time to refresh your morning ritual with the $6 Tim's Trio from Tim Hortons. It starts with a premium blend of freshly brewed coffee, a hot, savory breakfast sandwich made with freshly cracked eggs, and for a tasty twist, a daily baked donut to sweeten the deal. Ask for the $6 Tim's Trio. Your morning ritual refreshed. Only at your neighborhood Tim Hortons. At participating U.S. restaurants, must ask for offer. Medium coffee only. Terms apply.
The new Chicken and Cheddar Rancher is here at Firehouse Subs. Protein-packed with grilled chicken breast, crispy bacon, melted cheddar, and creamy buttermilk ranch. A trusted favorite elevated Firehouse Subs style. Grab the new Chicken and Cheddar Rancher today. And remember, Firehouse Subs catering is perfect to feed your team for any game day event. Visit the restaurant or skip the line and order through the Firehouse Subs app. You'll be thankful you did. Only at Firehouse Subs at participating U.S. restaurants.
You know what hope is? Hope is action. Carving a path forward, even when it's hard.
And kids who still know how to dream. They're the best pathfinders of all.
So at Child Fund, hope means helping millions of children living in poverty worldwide to grow up healthy, educated, skilled, and so all those good things can come true for them. Safe.
And that means safe at home, safe at school, and safe online.
Hope means walking this path together, all of us. Because when we work together, we can do so much more.
That's right. Hope includes you.
Child Fund, because we need each other.
To learn how Child Fund works with children in 23 countries to help them achieve their full potential, visit childfund.org. That's childfund.org.
Statistics show that roughly 20 veterans die by suicide every day in the United States. Canines for Warriors is the leading nonprofit organization providing highly trained service dogs to veterans with PTSD and other invisible wounds of war. Backed by scientific research, Canines for Warriors has transformed the lives of more than 1,000 veterans, helping them reclaim their independence. To find out more, please visit caninesforwarriors.org.
Aetna has been my lifesaver. Easy to understand, and if not, customer service is always there to help.
Those words from a real Aetna Medicare Advantage member speak to why U.S. News & World Report named us a best Medicare Advantage company. Because we show up with care management that ensures doctors work together on complicated conditions. We show up with the latest in online tools to make healthcare easier to use anytime. We show up for you, because that's how healthier happens together. Member feedback has been edited for length and clarity.
Hey there, Jane Lynch here. You want to hear something funny? Too bad. You want to hear something uplifting that will inspire you? Good. Because today, I want to talk to you about Direct Relief, a humanitarian organization that does seriously good work when it counts. Fires, hurricanes, earthquakes. When disaster strikes, Direct Relief immediately shows up with medicines, medical supplies, and everything doctors and nurses need to save lives. Let's ship her out! Every day across the United States and around the world, they're making an enormous difference. If someone needs help, Direct Relief helps. No politics, no red tape. Hey, what you doing over there?
Oh, I'm packing insulin for kids with diabetes.
See, every box here is literally a lifeline for someone in critical need. So check them out at directrelief.org. You might just bring a smile to someone's face.
Yo, I'm your old basketball. Haven't seen you out on the courts in a while. Why not pass me over to Goodwill? Donating me helps Goodwill's mission to provide career training and support services right here in the community. And that's a slam dunk. Donate today. Hey, I got next.
To find your nearest Goodwill locations and to learn more about our mission, please visit goodwill.org. Goodwill, where your things start new lives.
Have you ever met a man who wins money betting on tennis? Enter Scotty Vegas. Join Scotty and Dave Biddle for On the Money.
Presented by Ohio for Responsible Gambling.
Sunday mornings at 9 on The Fan. All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Sports talk, weekend style. You're listening to Fan Sports Saturday.
Yes, you are. Rieser, Tito, and Nate with you until 1 o'clock. Appreciate you making us a little part of your weekend. Whether you're driving around, checking off things on your honey-do list, or you're getting your lawnmower ready. Thanks to everybody in the YouTube chat. Yeah, Chris put that in front of me. He's trying to get the damn mower on for the first time this season.
Yeah, I can do that today, too, I guess.
You haven't cut your grass yet?
No. Oh, wife's been busy.
Yeah.
She usually cuts it.
Oh.
But I'll have to cut it today because she'll want to do other stuff that I don't like to do also. So,
well, good news. The weather will be great all weekend.
No, that's not good news.
Okay.
Give me rain so I don't do anything. Where's it snow? How about that?
Well, it's April.
Yeah,
so I guess there's still a chance.
We had, when I was younger, I think we had like an 8-inch snow day in the middle of April.
Not doing that anymore.
Well,
wonderful.
Get a condo like me and have a nice drink on the porch while someone else is mowing your lawn.
Also not bad. Also not a bad way. And this is a pretty great sports day. Along with the Masters, you do have baseball starting at 1:05, Phillies and Diamondbacks. The Reds and the Anaheim Angels of Los Angeles go at 4:10, Guardians and Braves tonight at 7:15. On ABC at 12:30, you've got the Lightning and the Bruins. So I think if Boston wins today, they clinch a playoff spot. They're one of 5 teams that can do so in the National Hockey League. So if the Bruins win, maybe a couple other things might have to happen for Boston to do that, but they're in town tomorrow. And if you're the Blue Jackets, you're able to beat the Canadiens tonight, or if you're able to at least lose in overtime and get a point,
right,
you're still mathematically in the thing. So when the Bruins come to town, maybe you can catch them lackadaisical. I don't know. I'm just, again, trying to paint this turd gold because that's what this past 2 weeks. Because I remember we had Dylan Tyrer on 2 weeks ago, and I should have brought this up with him, but we were talking about playing Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
In a first-round series, hosting the Penguins, and boy, life sure can come at you quick. Also, John Tortorella and the Vegas Golden Knights can clinch a playoff spot.
He's 4-0-1 since going there.
They got to beat the Colorado Avalanche, so a tall task there. I think a couple other things can happen where if they don't necessarily beat Colorado, but say they go and they get a point, but that's at 8 o'clock tonight. Kind of incredible.
Well, it's in the NHL, it's the way you see it more. I know we saw it in the NBA, I don't know, last year, 2 years ago, but it's not that often it happens. In the NHL, more than any place else, where a team in playoff contention with like a handful of games left fires their head coach or fires a GM.
I think the Islanders did that. Patrick Waugh got the boot. And New York, still fighting for postseason.
Right. And so it's like, it just happens more in the NHL than any other sport where it's this late. You never see a team that's like 8-6 with a few games left in the NFL regular season. They fire the head coach if they're battling for a berth, something like that. You never see it there.
Yeah, New York takes on Ottawa today. The Senators will clinch a playoff berth if they beat the Islanders and have the Red Wings lose to the Devils. So Ottawa and New York, 1 o'clock. New Jersey at 5 o'clock against Detroit. Earlier in the week, Wisconsin's governor signed legislation that will provide $14.6 million in taxpayer funding to the University of Wisconsin Athletic Department. With that piece of legislature that the governor signed, I think UW Milwaukee and UW Green Bay are getting like $200,000
each, right? So the rest is going
as bad as this is. The fact you're giving any taxpayer money to Doug Gottlieb, I instantly say no. Impeach Doug Gottlieb.
Well, a side note, they're paying, actually, when they give the money to Gottlieb, he's getting it in phone gift cards. Long-distance calling cards.
I could kind of see the wheels turning in your head trying to make a joke about that.
Yeah.
Yes, Doug Gottlieb stole credit cards. This we know. The new legislation in Wisconsin provides a wide-ranging public records exemption for any revenue or expenditure for the athletic department. So they're getting $14.5 million, and they don't have to tell you where they spent it, which should terrify anybody.
Right, yeah.
This passed the state Senate by 1 vote. It was 17-16 to land on the governor's desk, and Tony Evers was all too happy to sign it. UW's athletic director, Chris McIntosh, previously said the Badgers would be forced to, quote, reevaluate our expectations of our competitive success or reevaluate the number of opportunities that we provide without said legislation. So UW asked, and the state legislature in Wisconsin obliged. And that should terrify any of you, especially voters in the Buckeye State, because this feels like they're testing the waters for something that could come our way.
They're going to be, everyone's getting very creative now in finding ways to pay, to fund these rosters. They're more and more creative about it. We told the Mississippi thing where they were trying to do that. That did not make it out. They were trying to get to where NIL money was tax-free.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like when sometimes professional players go to a state that does not have income taxes. And look like the money they can save by going there and things like that, or with the Shohei deal, where Shohei's making all this, not making much money.
Deferred until 2035.
It's all deferred until he moves out of California. They won't pay anything, the ridiculous taxes there. It's very smart, but it makes my head spin, and it goes back, Rieser, to where, and this is a very naive thing to say, but I wish I were more naive and didn't know all this crap was going on. Just show me the teams get out there and play on Saturday. Just show me that. I don't care how they got there.
I do think, especially in Ohio, there's a lot of people that are like that. Whereas I don't care how this goes. I don't care how you have to find the money. I don't care what the roster construction looks like. Put the team on the field, win the games.
Like, Reese, baseball changed for me as a kid when Sports Illustrated published that it's an iconic magazine cover of every player's salaries. And I knew then. And when I knew Pete Rose left the Reds for money to go to Philly, when I knew that changed sports for me once money got involved. And it changed for me forever on that one. And I don't want this to happen with college football.
An Ohioan took a big bag and now might be having second thoughts. We'll discuss that next. Sports Saturday on The Fan.
During this 10-second promo, Rothman will lose money gambling on something.
People like you come here and blow the family nest egg that built this town.
Rothman and Ice.
Weekdays from noon to 3.
The Fan.
Need a roof you can count on? Ramos Roofing has protected homes and businesses throughout Ohio for almost 20 years. Whether it's a leaky roof, storm damage, new siding, or new gutters to protect your foundation, Ramos Roofing delivers quality materials, professional installation, and honest service every time. Get your free roof or exterior assessment today and ask about Ramos Roofing's no-interest financing options. Call 614-761-7663 or visit online at ramosroofingohio.com.
Big refund, big project, big savings at Menards. Turn your tax refund into a new deck. Shop the largest in-stock selection of AC2 pressure-treated lumber and thick decking. All easy to load in our drive-through lumber yard. Plus, get pre-estimates fast using our easy-to-use deck design program. Save big on AC2 pressure-treated lumber and thick decking at Menards. Also, check out our weekly flyer on menards.com for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Do you feel embarrassed, trapped, maybe even ashamed just because you own a timeshare? Well, I'm here to tell you you're not alone. Chuck McDowell here, the timeshare cancellation guy. I get over 3,000 complaints a week from all kinds of folks that feel the same way you do. Honest people, teachers, veterans, grandparents, all losing sleep over a timeshare they can't get rid of. That's why 15 years ago, I founded Wesley Financial Group to help people take their lives back. Today, I run Wesley with my two sons, a real family business, treating every client and every employee like we would want our own family to be treated. That mindset has helped us cancel over 50,000 timeshares from people just like you. So if you're stuck in a timeshare, give us a call. Let our family help your family.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit kit. 800-981-4455. That's 800-981-4455. 800-981-4455.
Grab me a new cross-match bingo from the Ohio Lottery.
Sure thing. You said match bingo cross?
No, the newest $10 scratch-off with prizes up to $500,000.
Yeah.
The ticket's so big, it's only sold at retail counters? The one with over $15 million in prizes? Cross-match bingo.
One cross bingo match coming up.
However you say it, cross-match bingo combines cash word, bingo, and match games all into one for even more fun. Lottery players are subject to Ohio laws and commission regulations. Play responsibly.
Being diagnosed with leukemia, lymphoma, myeloma, or one of over 100 other types of blood cancer makes people want more time to do the things they love. That means more time to be artists, prom dates, world travelers, and moms. We are Blood Cancer United, the world's leading organization focused solely on blood cancer research, support, and advocacy. We do the most for more people with blood cancer, so people with blood cancer can do more of whatever they want. Blood Cancer United. Join us at bloodcancerunited.org.
Broadcasting live from the McDaniel GM Superstore Studios, driving excellence since 1916. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive. WBNS HD1 Columbus.
I'm Nate Puderwell with your sports update. It's moving day out at Augusta as we head into round 3 of the Masters. Rory McIlroy takes a commanding 6-shot lead into the weekend at 12 under after finishing 7 shots under par yesterday. Patrick Reed and Sam Burns are 6 shots back, with Tommy Fleetwood, Shane Lowry, and Justin Rose all 7 shots back. Rory and Burns tee off at 250. The CBJ return to the ice tonight, still cleaning the playoff chances. They're in Montreal tonight to take on the Canadiens. Puck drops at 7. Catch extended fan coverage beginning at 6 o'clock. The Redlegs look to bounce back after getting crushed by the Angels 10-2 last night. They square off again at 4:10 this afternoon out at Great American Ballpark. And the Guardians look for some payback in Atlanta tonight against the Braves. Parker Messick set to take the mound for the Guardians today against the Braves' Martin Perez. First pitch comes your way at 7:10. Bringing sports news weapons on the Fan, Ohio Sports Destination.
During weekend programming, pants are optional.
Look at my butt!
However, leather chairs may have been a bad choice. You're listening to Fan Sports Saturday.
Happy Saturday. Eric Rieser, Jeff Thidoff. You heard Nate there in the update. They got bombed in Atlanta, but it was still a fun game between the Guardians and the Braves. It was 11-5, the final score. That's fun. Like, you like runs, don't you?
Sure.
You don't love to lose if you're the Cleveland Guardians, but you had Angel Martinez with bases loaded, and you thought, hey, another grand slam could make this a real fun game for Guardians fans. But it's just, one of many. And similarly with the Reds, who fall at home, the Angels of Anaheim, I don't know if they're really good, but you had fun.
I'm sure they're expensive.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't...
They're good at that.
I think to Mike Trout, and I go, did you really want to sign up for that? They're going to be you're the second fiddle team in your own region. They tried. There was a little bit where they tried signing Pujols and fielding a competitive roster. They thought on
didn't
paper.
Trade Ohtani. They could have got something for him. They decided to ride it out
they
with him.
wanted to keep him.
They spent way too much money on Anthony Rendon.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
And that one year, remember they used every single draft pick on pitchers.
So you stink. Your front office is incompetent, and you're paying a ton in taxes in California.
Other than that, though, how was the play?
Mike Trout.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. I wanted to mention this before we broke, but the Wisconsin bill, Assembly Bill 1034, which provides $14.6 million for Wisconsin athletics and $200,000 for University of Wisconsin Green Bay, University of Wisconsin Milwaukee, and that's every single year. The legislation that was signed into law by the governor earlier this week recognizes Wisconsin athletics' role as an economic engine for the state. Where have you heard that verbiage before? That's when I see things like this, I go, this is coming soon. Similar language is coming soon to Ohio. And I hope that the legislature here does not pass that, because I would not like taxpayer money to go and fund this.
Okay, well, then it goes back to the guy in The Athletic who wrote the article. I don't know if you and I talked about that or not, but there was where The Athletic put out to about more than 70 schools, they asked for payroll information for the players.
Yes. And
the only school that responded was James Madison.
Right.
And they sent in a list of everybody's salary.
Janitorial expenses.
Well, no, this was the entire roster, like with the salaries.
Yeah.
But they had all the names blacked out.
Yeah.
But nobody else. UConn said they spent like whatever their total was across all sports, nothing specific. But all these other schools aren't doing it. A Louisiana attorney says, look, if our money's going towards something like this, if it does, we have the right to know how it's getting distributed.
Yes. But the language in the Wisconsin bill says they don't have to tell you.
Right, which is wrong.
And again, I can see legislatures in this state saying, oh, we'd maybe like to do that, because Ohio State in Columbus is an economic engine. Not only with the medical center, with the football team, and the university.
Yeah.
The amount of people it employs, the amount of visitors to Columbus for specific things at OSU, it's, if not the most important thing in this state, it's one of them.
Yeah, sure is.
And certainly you will see that next Saturday when they do a spring game and they put a couple 100,000 people down on campus for it. But for the athletic department should not be receiving taxpayer funds in this sort of way.
Correct.
Just my opinion.
Sure.
So, imagine if you're a Minnesota grad living in Wisconsin. and you're a Golden Gopher fan, Golden Gophers for life, and you're like, wait a minute, my taxpayer money's going to the enemy?
Hey, flip it around. We know there's Michigan fans in Columbus and in Ohio. We know there's Michigan fans. Go up there just north of Toledo, around the Toledo, Michigan area. I call it Toledo, Michigan, by the way.
Sure.
But that's what it is, though. Up there's a lot of Michigan fans.
And I understand the question. How are you going to pay for this roster? Because every single year the money's going up.
Mm-hmm.
I do have great faith in what Ryan Day and company are doing with this football team. And the allocation of their resources have been in the right spots. I think you've seen year to year, they fill the proper holes with the proper people. One of the guys that I really wanted this team to get was Chaz Coleman, edge rusher out from Warren, up near Youngstown.
Mm-hmm.
Played one season at Penn State, was awesome. But Tennessee gave him $3.5 million, and he took the bet. And now he's going to factor into whatever the Volunteers want to do this season, whether that's compete for the SEC or be an SEC bottom feeder. Well, maybe. There was a report from Tony Basilio. Apologies if I mispronounced your name. Says that Chaz Coleman's having some issues. Quote, Knoxville's the furthest away from home he's ever been, and he's not handling it well. I was told by a source close to the family that Coleman is a homebody who's excellent once he locks in on something, but sometimes takes a while to get locked in. The reporting adds the Volunteers paying around $3.5 million for the 2026 season out of the transfer portal. Big price point for a guy who played 9 college games. Quote, Tennessee doesn't want to kick him off the team for his recent hiccups, but wants to figure out a way to accommodate him. They've been in contact with family members. It's possible one of his siblings could join him soon in Knoxville, end quote. So not only are you paying for the player, are you going to be paying for one of his siblings to come and live on campus with him?
So what happened? I know that the portal's closed now, so they could not replace him.
No.
He just wouldn't play this year?
I don't know.
Or could he do like the kid from Wisconsin did?
He could.
Just say, I'm out.
Stop me.
Yeah, I'm going to go to Columbus.
I don't
I'll be
think
a walk-on.
Ohio State would want to get involved in something like that.
Either.
Like Miami would definitely be like, oh, we can get Chaz Coleman? Yeah, come on down.
Right, yeah, they would do it.
We will pay for your lawyer.
Yes.
And then Tennessee would have to come at us. And then I do wonder what does discovery look like for that? Because then everybody's got to open their books. And
yes.
So all of this is in the grayest of areas, but it's be careful what you pay for.
I'm like you. I really was hoping he'd come here.
That was the one thing I wanted in the portal.
Yeah.
Because, with Ohio State, you had really the same question as last year.
Right.
Going into the 2025 season, well, you got 8 players you got to replace on the defense. This would have been a really good portal addition.
Yeah. Yep.
That doesn't mean the guys who they have gotten in the portal from Ohio State aren't going to be great, because I think they're going to be great.
Right.
Many of them have gotten their black stripes off already. They've played a ton of college football at places like Florida State, like Alabama. I mean, you hear all the Alabama guys that say, this is Alabama. This is just like it was with Nick Saban.
It's Saban, Alabama. Yeah, this is not the current Alabama.
You can't get a higher compliment than that, in my opinion. So for the Buckeyes and for their spring game, Saturday, April 18th is going to be a lot of fun to see a lot of these new guys running around in Buckeye uniforms. Now, are you going to see much from a schematic standpoint? No, but I'll be really interested to see who just takes snaps. See who's in with the ones, or who's in with the first team, or who's in first.
Right. I mean, because we're not going to see, obviously, the running back room's a lot different right now because of the injuries to Jackson and West. They're not participating. But yes, you're right. Seeing that out there, and I'm always fascinated, Reese, by the balance on how is it that you tell your players, like you give some of these guys, like, this is your moment.
Mm-hmm.
This is your moment.
Like all the love that Brock Boyd's been getting, this is for him.
Sure.
Because we'll have a Brock Boyd discussion in a second. But the spring game is made for guys who you don't think are going to be doing a ton this season.
Right.
Because they're just too young in the college game.
But then how do you do it as a coach, though? Say, this is your moment, but don't go all out.
I think you just do it like that.
But I'm saying, like, if it's my moment, how you don't want me to, like...
You know they're going to. They're competitors at the highest level.
You know what? I don't injure anybody, their teammate.
Don't get hurt.
But still...
They're not going to be scared of football.
Right.
But don't try. It's to the point that I've made about Lane Kiffin and guys wanting to cancel their spring game. So the news came out that LSU's not going to do a spring game. And Lane Kiffin, their new head coach, was asked, I stopped the spring game a few years ago, meaning when he was at Ole Miss. Quote, it was on TV and you're giving that. And you're giving that because there was another portal coming up. You're basically giving people evaluations of your players, especially your newer ones and how they're doing. And then it became that on top of the financial piece of how much you're investing in players now and how significant injuries are. And looking at the big picture of that, I just feel like it's not worth it, end quote. And so his first point, I understand from coaches are paranoid and think if we give you an open look, because there used to be the portal after the spring that you could pop into. And you're like, well, I don't want people to see my players, but now you have services that you can get highlights from high school. Like 6th, 7th, and 8th graders can put their tape in. Everybody can see and has seen everybody. So I think that's just paranoid coaches.
Right.
And that's fine. You're never going to change that. But the idea that we don't want to risk significant injury relative to our investments in these, like, Tito, you can't be scared of playing football. You can put the black shirt on the quarterback and say, do not touch him unless it's Cardell Jones.
Right.
But everybody else, you gotta play football. Like we can't be scared out here trying to not get hurt. We've got work to do as a football team. By we, I mean the coaching staff at Ohio State. Right. I'm certainly not suiting up there. But there is time to Ball State, but you've got to make the most of the time that you're allotted.
And on the paranoid front, that's such a bad look for a coach to say that, because and I don't know, maybe it's because I'm just not conditioned to try to figure out Ryan Day's thinking, you know.
Sure.
But it's like Ryan Day's like, hey, if one of my kids wants to leave, go. If you don't want to be here, I don't want you to be here. I don't want you to be here if you don't want to be here. And if somebody can see a highlight from you in our spring game and you're so enticed, like, you know what, I think I'd like to go play for Purdue. Then you know what? I didn't want you here in the first place.
Yeah.
It's best addition by subtraction there.
Yeah.
How many times Ohio State lost a guy and we thought, oh my God, it's too bad they lost that guy.
Well, we'll find out.
Yeah.
Find out some this year. You know, we'll find some guys at Notre Dame.
Yeah.
We'll see with this. But I agree with you.
It's like just
and last year for Ohio State in the wide receiver room, like you have a ton of talent, a lot of it unproven, but you really didn't disperse the ball around too much. So when I hear and see, you know, about some of these wide receivers that they brought in, I go, if Ohio State's going to stick with what they did last year offensively, you're not going to be distributing to more than Jeremiah, to Brandon Innes, and maybe Chris Henry Jr.
Yeah.
Like, are you just going to do, if you want to, like Arthur Smith, and have your double tight sets, you three wide outs, well, you're not rolling too much past that, are you?
No.
Like Devin McCune and Brandon Innes are.
Yeah.
Where are we going with the football? So I do want to have a greater conversation about where Ohio State's offense goes, understanding that they probably don't want to do exactly what they did last year. Maybe that's just me hoping as a fan.
Right.
They don't sit on the ball and try to avoid injury or try to avoid fatigue. Maybe that's something that you won't see it in the spring game, but as Arthur Smith gets more acclimated with this offense, as guys start to get healthier and start to contribute more at practice on the field instead of just standing around and watching things, then how does this look? And we'll have that conversation about the Buckeyes offense, and a spring game hero might have to wait his turn. That's next. Sports Saturday on The Fan.
Whatever you're doing right now, just know that Bo Bishop is enjoying a sip of bourbon, even if this promo is playing in the morning. No judgment.
Ah, sweet morning drinking.
The Fan.
I love Right Pack Credit Union because they're solution driven.
I feel valued as a member. They're focused on the latest technology and the personal connections.
Experience benefits that go beyond banking with Right Pack Credit Union. Just ask our actual members.
I definitely recommend Right Pack to all my family and friends as a credit union of choice.
Visit one of our Columbus area Right Pack Credit Union member centers near you. Based on individual members' experiences, results may vary.
I'm Jeff Hogan. I've been a journalist at 10 TV for more than 20 years. I don't just report about our community, I belong to it. And that's why we care so deeply about getting it right. And when local journalism is done right, it moves. It moves you to act, to speak up, or lend a hand. And yes, it moves your heart through the kind of human storytelling that stays with you wherever you are. And at 10 TV, we're here for all of it. These are the stories that move Central Ohio.
Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter, and spring is here, and it's time to hit the road with something new from Germain Toyota. Right now, get into a rugged 2026 Toyota Tundra with just 2.99% financing for up to 72 months. Power, performance, and capability ready for every spring adventure. Or cruise into the season with a 2026 Tacoma SR5 for only $299 a month for 36 months and $39.99 due at signing. Fresh deals, fresh rides. Germain Toyota on the corner of I-70 and Bryce Road or online at germaintoyota.net.
Get Eco.
ECO.
Aaron?
Yeah, Jerry?
Something is wrong.
Something's wrong?
Yeah, it's definitely something.
Get Eco.
ECO.
Thumping and bumping and jumping.
What is?
But it's not pumping.
Get Eco.
ECO. Jerry?
Yeah, Aaron.
Are we talking about your sump pump?
Yeah, isn't it great?
Isn't what great?
I like the sound of it. Sump pump. Sump pump, sump pump, sump pump.
Get Eco.
ECO. Jerry, can you keep a secret?
Aaron, I'm as silent as a bank vault in Switzerland.
I kind of like to say it too.
Hey, I should invent a sump pump that lets you know when it's working.
How would it do that?
It would say, sump pump, sump pump, sump pump.
That's a great idea, Jerry, but a sump pump should be exactly like you.
How so?
As silent as a bank vault in Switzerland.
Get Eco.
ECO. Eco plumbers, electricians, and HVAC technicians.
Get Eco.
Common Man here for Weed Man. I talk to you about Weed Man every year. Why? Simple. Number one, I use it. Number two, it works. You want to get those lawn roots thick, baby, because when that happens, they resist weeds, disease, and insects, and they're using top-of-the-line stuff. We're talking golf course quality. Weed Man is locally owned and operated by Corbin and Audrey. They will take care of you. Proudly serving Central Ohio and our Dayton friends. Call your local office, 614-733-3747, weedman.com. Looking to sell your home? Don't pay 6% commission. Call my guys at Sell for 1% Realtors. They're full service, not a do-it-yourself kind of thing. On average, customers save over $10,000. Give them a call, 614-451-6616. That's 451-6616.
Spring is here, and there's no better place to make memories than the Columbus Zoo. See tigers up close, watch playful otters, and see the baby elephants in action. For a limited time, take advantage of our Zoo After 2 p.m. deal. Plan your adventure at columbuszoo.org.
Why choose between getting things done and doing things with the ones you love? With Kroger same-day pickup and delivery, it's easy to shop the same great prices and quality you'd find in store. We'll bring your groceries right to you in our refrigerated trucks, so you can spend time on what matters most. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Save $20 on your first Kroger pickup or delivery order of $75 or more. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the third time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. Mycomputercareer.edu, an Elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
Hey there, friends. It's Bo Bishop here. You've heard me talk about High Bank's award-winning spirits, but let's talk about the food. High Bank delivers incredible meals and handcrafted cocktails in a space that works for every part of your week. Start with happy hour, drinks with friends, come back for brunch worth planning your weekend around, then stay for dinner. And get this, kids eat half off every Monday. Great food, award-winning drinks, a reason to come back time and time again. Make a reservation today at a location near you at highbankco.com. Dine, drink, distill at High Bank.
Think you know Buckeye football? These two say, hold my beer. The Beat with Austin and Berm.
Sponsored by the Waterworks.
Daily on the Fan's YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts. Your home of the Buckeyes, The Fan. Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
It will be picture perfect today with plenty of sunshine and rather light winds. Temperatures near normal with a high of 64. Tonight, temperatures drop down to the mid-40s, but it is clear and calm. It will be warm and windy on Sunday, a high of 81, close to the record high of 86, and we'll see plenty of sunshine. We do expect warm weather to continue into next week. I'm meteorologist Ashley Smith on 97.1 The Fan.
Bo Bishop is a media legend. We have no idea where the other guys came from. Bishop and Friends.
Weekdays from 9 to noon.
The Fan. Live, local, and still slightly drunk.
I'm not drunk, all right? I just have a speech impediment.
This is Fan Sports Saturday.
In about 12 minutes, we'll have Aviators wide receiver Tay Martin on the program. Columbus is in Dallas for Game 3 of their inaugural UFL campaign, taking on the Renegades tomorrow at noon. That game will be on Big Boy ABC, Tito. So you got ABC, ESPN, and Fox. the places you can watch your Aviators this upcoming season. So interested to get Tay Martin's thoughts on everything that happened last week at historic Crew Stadium, just how that atmosphere was, and really just kind of the future of this league. Because I do think while we all love the idea of more football, time's going to be the true test of, do we love it? Do we love to spend money on spring football?
Yeah, you're right. You hear more football? Yeah, I'm
right.
good. Yeah,
I mean, who says no?
Right. You going to go to the games? You know what? You going to watch it? You know what? Maybe.
Because we're so used to here the highest quality of football with Ohio State.
Right.
Sometimes, like in seasons, you'll get high quality football with the Cincinnati Bengals.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they make a Super Bowl. Some few and far betweener times you get football with the Cleveland Browns. And so I do think we here, especially in Ohio, want football to be at the highest of quality and highest of caliber. And so there's work at the UFL level that needs to be done to get it to what we would consider the standard to spend our money on. And I think that's the biggest thing that the Aviators and the other 7 teams in the UFL, that's what they're trying to do. And so I think, again, the Buckeye-ness of this team, I think you continue to lean into that, and you can have, I think, a really compelling product. This is the first year of it. You don't have to win all your games, but you must not go 0-10. So they'll hope to go 1-2 with a win tomorrow against the Renegades. But Tay Martin coming up here in about 10 minutes. Tito, do you expect Ohio State's offense, speaking of that high-quality, high-caliber Buckeye football team, do you expect the Buckeye offense to be the same as last year?
Damn. See, so the same. It's got to change. It's got to evolve in some ways. I would much rather. I don't want to see any more bubble screens called.
Okay.
And I do want to see them play with more tempo more often.
Same.
Because I felt like last year, Reese, when they had to dial it up, it was difficult. It was clunky, if you will. It was like, because they weren't used to doing it.
Right.
It goes the same way as the other way. If you're a team that plays up tempo all the time, and all of a sudden you decide, you know what, we're going to try to sit on it now. It's easier to go back than it is to go forward on that kind of stuff. But I'm saying, like, that part though, and we saw it when they needed it, when they needed quick drives, quick strikes down the field. It was much tougher to do it last year than the year before.
It was, and I'm guilty of this too, thinking that at any point they could just flip the switch.
Yeah.
And boy, was I wrong. Because when you needed it, you couldn't just flip the switch. You could out-talent everybody on your schedule. This season will not be the case.
Right.
And I think to comments made by Ryan Day earlier in the spring, how they want to roll guys at more positions. And my first thought goes to that wide receiver room. Because of the players you have coming back, Brandon Inniss and Jeremiah Smith, that's more than half of your receptions. A lot more. Jeremiah led the team with 87. Carnell Tate had 51. Max Clare had 43. Well, Tate and Clare are going to hear their names called in the NFL draft. You have Brandon Inniss back. But then Bo Jackson will probably up his numbers in terms of receptions. But Will Kasmerick's gone. C.J. Donaldson's gone. Mylan Graham's at Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Jelani Thurman hit the portal, but I can't remember where exactly he ended up. So you have guys coming in from the portal. You've got Kyle Parker. You've got Devin McCune. You have, of the 10 players that have lost their black stripe through the spring, 3 are wide receivers. That includes freshman wide receiver Brock Boyd, who's been getting a lot of love.
North Carolina, Jelani Thurman.
Okay, for his work in the spring. Now, here's Ryan Day from earlier this week talking about Brock Boyd, the wide receiver from, I think, the same high school as Quinn Ewers.
Very mature approach. He goes hard every play. He's very smart in how he gets open. He's a good route runner. He understands multiple positions and just plays fast every play, and just looks very confident in what he does. And he's a good example of people who prepare at a high level can play fast because they're anticipating as opposed to reacting. And he looks very decisive when he's out there, and then just has great natural ability to catch the ball. Very competitive, great mindset, fun to be around, great body language, all the above.
And also, new to that wide receiver room, Devin McCune from Texas San Antonio.
I would say a veteran approach, somebody who's coming in and prepared every day, but then has to go put it on the field and prove himself. This is a new, and when you come in as a transfer, especially at Ohio State, you have to prove yourself, and that's part of the whole black stripe idea. But and it's good. I mean, I've been getting text messages from players, what do I need to do to get my black stripe off? So it's competitive, but Devin's somebody who was serious during the recruiting process when he was in the portal, told us exactly what he wanted. We told him exactly what this was going to be, and we're seeing a lot of that happen now. I think he's understanding the terminology, how we do things, the speed of practice. Guys have different habits and different programs, but we think that he has a chance to have a really good year for us.
And a lot of what Ryan Day said can be applied to Kyle Parker, a wide receiver transfer from LSU, who was the first Buckeye to get his black stripe off in the spring. But a player I haven't even mentioned at all, Tito, is Chris Henry Jr.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah, I think so. So if you are to go with last year, there's Jeremiah and there's Brandon Innes. But Ryan has also told us that he really likes Mason Williams, the tight end from Ohio, and they brought in another tight end from the transfer portal. You see an Arthur Smith offense, and you go, yeah, they're going to put those two guys on the line.
Right.
You got Jeremiah, you got Carnell. Like, where are these other guys going to be getting their touches?
And that goes also then to the point, though, Reese, where I think that we both want to see more up-tempo. More shots.
I think you have to.
Yeah.
I think you have to utilize the middle more. I think you do have to roll wide receivers to where you get a greater distribution of receptions.
You are a Steelers fan, right?
I am a Steelers fan.
You don't want bubble screens. You do know who our offensive coordinator is, don't you?
That. I understand. If whatever it is, it needs to be cleaner if they do crap like that. It needs to be cleaner than it was last year.
Crap like that.
Sorry.
He really hates bubble screens.
I'm a big anti-bubble screen guy.
I think to your disdain for it and for what Arthur Smith did in Pittsburgh, it will be different at Ohio State. I do believe because the talent disparity is such that he's got more to work with than what he did at Pittsburgh relative to the competition. So you're going to have he's never had a player like Jeremiah Smith.
No.
Maybe Derrick Henry in terms of what planet did this person come in from? Because Jeremiah Smith's just different than anybody else out there. And so I think when you saw what he did with Derrick Henry in Tennessee, that's the alpha.
Yeah.
You're putting the ball in his hands as many times as humanly possible.
And if it weren't for Derrick Henry, they would have thrown the ball more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's kind of like Jeremiah. Right. Yeah.
So you throw the ball more.
Right. I just thought about this, Reese.
Okay.
And you're so good at making me think about things.
Yes.
You talked about the thing we're doing the spring game. And,
next Saturday.
Still got to hit. Yeah. You still got to, don't be afraid.
Don't be afraid of football.
Right.
Don't hit the quarterback. Do not touch Julian Sain.
But last year, can you make the same comparison to they played a slower tempo because they wanted to be fresher later?
That's fair.
It's almost the same thing, isn't it? Because, then it doesn't matter how fresh they were. They got beat by Miami.
It was a very plausible argument made by Ryan Day of being slower, being more methodical, sitting on the football because you wanted to make that slog to the national championship game that I think was January 20th.
Yeah, you played 2 fewer games worth of plays last season.
But it did not enable you to, when you needed it, flip the switch and go down the field. Now, you were up tempo a little bit against Indiana and then against Miami, but it did feel, at least in one of those, it was a little too late.
Disjointed.
You got to come out swinging. And the schedule that's in front of Ohio State, week 2 at Texas, and then the rest of the Big Ten slate that you've got makes it so that you cannot come out and sit on the football.
Right.
So there's...
To me, the better rest is get up 49-0 at the halftime and then sit everybody.
Well, sure. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that.
So that also, Nate, to what your point, allows for them to put Tavian St. Clair out there.
Yep.
Because that's, I think they've shown you by putting him out at the pro day, that's who they think the future of this quarterback room is going to be. Because Julian's gone.
Yep.
And you have Tavian in the room. So I think you've got to have a fun little balance with this, of opening up the offense more than you did last year, of throwing the ball down the field to your alphas and the guys that you got in the transfer portal, and also Chris Henry Jr., and then make a situation where you're giving Tavian St. Clair meaningful reps with the full complement of this offense. That's a lot easier said than done, but I do think with Arthur Smith coming in, there's a better understanding about how to do it.
Yeah.
Right? Because you've got him as with NFL bona fides, you've got Ryan Day, you've got plenty of offensive minds in that room that have done it at a high level. So from our lips to the Woody Hayes Athletic Center, let's speed things up, let's take some shots, and let's really turn this football Ferrari, because we know it is.
Yeah.
Let's turn it into an actual football Ferrari compared to what you had in a football Ferrari last season that you decided to make into a Hummer H2.
That's good analogy there.
Well, you know, I try sometimes.
That's good.
Columbus Aviators are 0-2. They're going to try to look to avoid 0-3 tomorrow in Dallas. Tay Martin, 81 for the Aviators. Their wide receiver will join us in 2 minutes. Sports Saturday on the Fan.
Coffee, sandwich, hash browns. Tired of the same breakfast routine? Time to refresh your morning ritual with the $6 Tim's Trio from Tim Hortons. It starts with a premium blend of freshly brewed coffee, a hot, savory breakfast sandwich made with freshly cracked eggs, and for a tasty twist, a daily baked donut to sweeten the deal. Ask for the $6 Tim's Trio. Your morning ritual refreshed. Only at your neighborhood Tim Hortons. At participating U.S. restaurants, must ask for offer. Medium coffee only. Terms apply.
There's an old story about cat toys that's been retold for over 20 years because it perfectly explains who we are. This is Dennis Sullivan, president of Care Heating and Cooling. Years ago, a couple who shared their house with 3 cats had another company out to look at their furnace. After working on it, the technician said it was dangerous and had to be replaced. The couple called Care for a second opinion, and my dad Mike went out to help them. When he inspected the furnace, the cause of the problem became obvious. A cat toy had been stuffed into the heat exchanger. With the toy removed, the furnace ran perfectly. Now, how did the toy get there? You can decide for yourself, but here's what mattered then and still matters now. The first company paid commissions to their service techs to sell new furnaces. At Care, we pay our technicians to fix furnaces, not sell you a new one. And if a new furnace is needed, our team of replacement specialists will advise you on all options available and help you make your best choice. Care Heating and Cooling. Call 1-800-COOLING when you need a company you can trust.
At ADP, we know you want your landscape business to succeed, but we don't know anything about landscaping. ADP only knows how to handle the business of your small business. So if ADP focuses on the payroll and the HR, while you focus on the land and the scaping, success should follow. Just don't expect us to know all about Kentucky bluegrass, zero-turn cutting, or what to do with a woodchuck. That's for you to figure out. Let ADP help your small business focus on the part of the business you're good at. ADP for small business.
1, 2, 3. Here at the Fan is always football o'clock. Proud to be your home of the Buckeyes, Browns, and all the NFL games you can handle. The Fan. Garnish your Bloody Mary with sports talk. You're listening to Fan Sports Saturday.
Yes, you are 1 week out from Ohio State's annual spring game. Buckeyes will be back to the practice field on Monday. Ryan Day is going to speak after that around 11 o'clock-ish Monday. We'll carry his comments live on the Fan when he takes the podium from this past week when Ohio State's head coach spoke. This is kind of what perked my interest in the conversation that we just had, Tito, about Ohio State and their offensive explosiveness.
Yeah, I've seen some of it in the pass game for sure. The run game, not as much. Legion's been out here for a couple weeks. So we're hoping that he can give us some explosive play. Bo and Isaiah both, are out for the spring, and we really need those guys to get to the second level and make some people miss. They did a nice job as freshmen, but they're not freshmen anymore. I wish they were practicing this spring, but that is what it is. So I think we're going to continue to get them to the second level. They have to make people miss or run them over, and that's just the bottom line. And if we do that, we're going to be explosive because then we're forcing guys to come down in the box, and then we can be explosive throwing the football. I think we do have depth at receiver. I think guys are working on run after the catch more than ever. I think Arthur's doing a really good job of trying to be creative about the formations and a way that we can attack teams. So that's been good. But at the end of the day, it's going to come down to, in the run game, getting guys to the safeties and second level and making those guys miss and running them over. So, we can certainly come up with creative plays to be, to do that. But really, it comes down to execution at the end of the day. And so we got to make sure that, we're continually trying to get our guys in the right position to be successful, but we're getting better at the techniques it takes.
Tough to do in the spring when you do have the injuries that you have. 3 on your offensive line, 2 in your running back room, Legend Bay as well. But it also provides opportunities for other guys in those situations to really make their mark in the spring. When he says, and we talks about explosiveness, I think that's great. I think that's what fans want to hear. I think that's what we as talkie heads would like to see. But then he kind of veers into, we're going to set up the pass with the run. And maybe do it the other way around, considering the talent that you have.
Why not? Right?
However, you have to say that understanding who the offensive coordinator is and who the head coach is, where they got Bo Jackson 1,000 yards last season as a true freshman.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to want to do that again.
Yes, they are.
I just think that if you're wanting to, in the college football playoff, play the way you did in the 2024 playoff, when they threw the ball all over the place.
Yeah.
That work's got to be done in the regular season.
Yes.
Loved what he said there about rolling guys at the wide receiver spot because you have a ton of talent there that I think it would do well for you to showcase. Jeremiah is obviously going to be your alpha, but Chris Henry Jr., I think you want to make and keep him happy. Right?
I think so too. Yes.
If health is all there for these guys, throw it all over the place. You have you have the quarterback that can do it.
Yes.
You think you have the offensive line, especially with the starters coming back, that can keep Julian upright for enough time to where if he takes the next step, Julian, his progressions and his overall quarterback play,
right.
This is the complete offense.
And I know that Ryan Day talks about how he has to re-recruit his roster after each season.
Every single year.
Okay. But not only that, you have to re-recruit them during the season. Okay?
That's what I'm saying about Chris Henry.
Chris Henry, yeah. And that's why it's even more important. Especially, like those, I know the Texas game's a different beast, but the games that are sandwiching around that, you've got to find a way. Ball State and
is it Bowling Green? Or are they next year? It's a MAC team.
Isn't Bowling Green this year? I think it is. I think we're making the joke they should ask Eddie to ring the victory bell.
You can't. I think we have because I've yelled at you about that.
Yes.
No, it's Ball State and then Kent State.
Kent State, okay. Anyway, but I'm saying, though, in those two games, though, you better make sure Chris Henry gets a lot of targets. Not the expense of the game. They're not going to lose the game. That's not going to happen. If you give Henry 10 targets, they're not going to lose that game no matter what. But that's one of those opportunities to do that, and I want to get Tavion in there, too.
I think that to establish that connection early would be important.
Yes.
I think if you're going to want to have you obviously will. They will have success in 2026. I will think they want success in 2027. You can establish that, Tito, by what you're saying, doing it in those games that are going to be out of hand early with Chris Henry Jr. and with Tavion St. Clair, who's going to be your future. Columbus Aviators are only into game 3 of the season tomorrow. That'll be noon on ABC. It's tough with the UFL because you get guys from all over the football spectrum to come in and try to be a competitive team in the span of weeks. I wondered watching their game last, was it Friday night? If at any point, as the offense is struggling, maybe you just inject Aiden Sane with that to see what kind of a boost you'd get from the fan base.
I've often thought that if you were going to have a situation like this, UFL, Arena Football League, World League of American Football, whatever, if you have all those, any of those that goes on, the more players with Ohio, somehow Ohio State ties, I know, the better. The better chance you get of it being of people watching it.
And I think, because you have drafts, but you have 8 teams, that having Ted Ginn as your head coach, I think was a good start.
Sure.
I think if you bring in a guy like Todd Haley, who's called offenses everywhere.
Right.
I think he was even the head coach of the Kansas City Chiefs for a hot cup of
yes,
coffee.
he was, yeah.
You have
couple of seasons.
Enough football bona fides in your coaching room to where you can make it work in year 1, and then you make strides to get better in year 2. Now, the cool thing I think about what the Aviators and what the UFL is trying to do is you establish yourself in football crazy markets.
Yep.
You put yourself on big boy rabbit ears accessible stations, and you try to make it an event that people can afford to go to.
Yes.
Because that's for springtime where you have in Columbus so many different things that can take your attention. You're hoping for a Blue Jackets playoff push, but you've also got the Columbus Clippers, the Columbus Crew, and now with the Aviators, there's so many different areas. There's so many different vehicles that you have also got to start making. You got to make strides so that people think, all right, that's going to be a competitive team. It's like with the Destroyers. At least they made an Arena Bowl.
Okay. What do you think is more important then? A winning team, a competitive team, or a team with former Ohio State players we all recognize?
Right now, it's the latter. It's the former Ohio State players we recognize. I don't know if it'll always be that way because I think you can only carry that for so long. I think you have to marry it with winning and being a competitive team. I'm really interested because Mike Rapoli is the billionaire backer for the league. He wants 2 more teams in 2028. One of those is in Oklahoma City.
Okay.
So they're going to build a 10,000-seat stadium there. And I wonder if that might be doing a little bit too much too soon because you already kind of did a reorganization and a reshuffle when you merged the XFL and the UFL. And then when you took the UFL out of, I think 4 cities lost their teams now to 1 that includes Columbus.
Yeah.
But everybody wants to be a part of sports.
They do. It's
so
just
this is that.
Yeah.
I just with live golf. I think about it. Then this isn't apples to apples. This is kind of more apples to like maybe an orange to another citrus fruit. You have a billionaire that is really excited about investing and wants to get involved in sports.
Right.
But how long is he going to keep investing and not see a return on that? It's kind of like with Live. Like the Saudis, their money comes from the ground.
Yeah.
But how much longer are they going to be like, yeah, we're just burning through cash? Until they're just done burning through cash.
I'm not going to lose. I don't want to lose any more money I've already lost.
We go out now to the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline and bring on Tay Martin. He's number 81 for your Columbus Aviators. They look to end a 2-game losing streak tomorrow in Dallas, taking on the Renegades at noon. It's a game you'll be able to see on ABC. Tay, thanks so much for the time this morning. A disappointing result last time out against the DC Defenders, but the crowd and the atmosphere at historic Crew Stadium was pretty awesome. What did you think of your first UFL game in Columbus?
Honestly, it was great, man. The whole atmosphere in Columbus was amazing. The whole, I feel like the fans came out and really supported us and really brought the energy. Unfortunately, we wasn't able to feed off the energy as much as we wanted to, but you know, next time we get out there, we're looking forward to the same crowd and the same support. You know.
Tay, I'm curious. What did you know, if anything, about Columbus before landing in the city?
Not much, honestly. Not much for real. I know LeBron's my favorite player, so I know about the area and you know, Ohio State, Ted getting the guys like that, stuff like that. I know it's a football city, football state, you know. So just growing up and seeing that, I know the culture as far as the football is great. So I definitely was looking forward to coming out there and playing. So.
Tay, I know that you spent some time, obviously, in the NFL already. I did see, as part of the show prep that I do, I saw the 49-yard touchdown catch you had for Tennessee about a year and a half ago. I'm watching that.
Yes, sir.
And, okay, I'm curious about that play. I don't we're going to talk, obviously, about the Aviators, but on that play, I watch it, though. Did that play go the way it was supposed to go?
Nah, man. It kind of was a miscommunication. It was a call that somebody didn't run the right route. You know, I'm not gonna point any fingers or nothing, but the end result, we'll take it every time.
Tay, I heard your head coach, Ted Ginn, talk about accountability earlier in the week, and we don't get to see really what goes on at practice or even in the meeting rooms, but what's Ted Ginn been like as a head coach?
Man, he's been great, man. Just having that guy supporting us, you know, keeping the energy up in the building. You know, a lot of teams can, once you start 0-2, a lot of teams can just fold. But having him with the energy, keeping us up and keeping us accountable and holding the standard up is what we need. And he's been doing a great job with that. And we're trying to get him a win, man.
Tay, as somebody who played major college football, and obviously I just mentioned the fact about you had some time in the NFL as well so far. I'm not saying you're done yet, but to play in the UFL, it feels to me like you have to have a real love for the game to play at any level you play. You got to love the game, but like to play like in UFL after some of the things you've already done. I mean, does that speak to your real love for football?
Yeah, I mean, it honestly does, man, because being in a league like this is honestly amazing because you get a chance to I was saying this last interview I had, I think it was yesterday. Anytime you get a chance to put the shoulder pads on the helmet, man, you gotta take advantage of it, and that's kind of how I look at it. Because, you know, growing up, man, it kind of goes fast, you know, playing this game. So I kind of want to cherish the moment anytime I go out there and play, man. But it's definitely amazing to have a league like this to be able to, you know, do what you love and support your family and also get film, you know, and get back to the level that you was on. So
Aviators wide receiver Tay Martin joins the Saturday Spectacular. You can see Columbus in Dallas tomorrow at noon taking on the Renegades. Fans around here, Tay, are really familiar with Todd Haley. We've seen him light guys up on the practice field and Hard Knocks. And have you seen a similar fire from Haley as your OC? What's it been like working with him?
Oh, it's been great, man. Todd's a great guy, man. Great mindset. Just getting after us and making sure we're where we need to be, and he's hopping on the little details and stuff. So he's been great, man. Just having him on the offensive side, just trying to make some plays, and he's been putting me in positions that I can make plays and take advantage of. So, couldn't ask for any more than Ty been doing. So definitely appreciate that.
Yeah, and Tay, I don't think fans can truly appreciate the time it takes for a quarterback to develop with his wide receivers. What's the process been like with you and your quarterback, Jalen McClendon?
Oh, it's been great, man. As soon as we got here in training camp, we was on the field immediately, running routes on air. So we've been building that chemistry since training camp, man. So, it's been translating on the field really good, and we just looking forward to keep taking advantage of the opportunities we get, and just trying to get over that hump and going 1-0 and turn this thing around.
All right, there he is. 81 for your Columbus Aviators. Tay Martin with us on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. Tay, thanks so much for the time this morning. Best of luck in Dallas, and we'll see you back home next week against the Renegades.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you guys for having me.
Go out there and run another busted play. Get a touchdown.
No, well, yeah. I guess go out and score however you're going to do it, right?
We'll take it. We'll take
Appreciate
it
you, Tay.
Yes, sir.
And again, a really cool opportunity because they're on, Fox and ABC and ESPN. Right. So Renegades and Aviators Sunday at noon. Then they're back home at historic Crew Stadium next week. I had meant to put this in front of you, Tito, about 5 to play 5. You'll hear from an Ohio State legend on just that coming up next. Sports Saturday on The Fan.
We're the girthiest radio station in the history of radio. Uncomfortably girthy. This promo is uncomfortable. The Fan, Ohio's girth destination.
Hey, y'all. It's the Rocket Roger Clemens here. I spent years on the mound giving everything I had, and now I feel every inning in my knees, back, and shoulders. But I didn't want surgery, and I sure didn't want to be sidelined. That's why I turned to QC Kinetics.
QC Kinetics Medical Director Dr. Christie and his team use regenerative treatments that help your body heal itself. No surgery, no meds, and no downtime.
Whether you're teeing off at the club or chasing the grandkids around, QC Kinetics helps you get back to doing what you love.
Call QC Kinetics now and schedule your free consultation. Natural joint pain relief with real results.
Don't let the pain slow you down. I didn't, and neither should you. My friends at QC Kinetics, they'll take care of you.
Call QC Kinetics today and schedule your free consultation. QC Kinetics.
Call QC Kinetics, 380-208-4544. That's 380-208-4544. 380-208-4544.
Great Lakes Hyundai. The savings are so good.
Spring into savings at Great Lakes Hyundai. Right now, drive your new Hyundai with payments as low as $94 per month for a 2-year lease. Get spring lease savings on every model from Elantra to Palisade. Plus, every new Hyundai comes with owner assurance and America's best warranty. A 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain coverage. Dublin or Columbus or glakeshyundai.com. With approved credit. Payment on 2060 Elantra SC, $39.95 down plus tax title first month payment. 7,500 miles per year and $430.
There's nothing like picking fresh fruits, vegetables, and herbs from your own garden. They're fresh and taste better. Those delicious treats start at Oakland Nursery. #1 size blueberry plants start at just $9.99. Cool season vegetable plants start at $2.99 a pack. Asparagus roots, rhubarb crowns, gooseberries, strawberries, and more. And all of your favorite herbs, too. Premium quality fruit trees start at just $29.99. Fresh fruit in your cereal and yogurt, fresh veggies in your salad, and herbs in your favorite dish. It all starts at Oakland Nursery.
Aviators football returns Friday, April 17th, 8 p.m. kickoff. The first 5,000 fans through the gates take home a free team flag. Grab your tickets now at UFLaviators.com. United we fly.
For 25 years, the Library of Congress Veterans History Project has collected and preserved the experiences of America's heroes. From original letters to oral histories, these first-hand accounts bring history to life, one voice at a time. With over 120,000 stories collected, each reveals the courage, sacrifice, and service of our veterans. But many remain untold. Help our nation reach 125,000. Share a story. Ensure a legacy. Visit loc.gov/vets today.
After my accident, people warned me to slow down. I said, I don't know how. Thanks to my VA care team, I haven't.
At VA, we're using technology to help veterans recover faster and live their lives to the fullest.
Learn more at vacareers.va.gov/PSA.
James Laurinaitis here for my guys at Green & Sons, the premier Kubota dealership in Central Ohio. Green & Sons has all the Kubotas you need to tackle your land and come out a winner. They have zero-turns, skid steers, tractors from 18 to 171 horsepower, and also utility vehicles. My favorite is my RTV Sidekick. The best thing about Green & Sons is they've been family-owned and operated since 1970, and you will love dealing with the Green family and their winning team. Do what I did and check out Green & Sons located in Mount Sterling and Marysville or online at greenandsons.com for all your Kubota needs.
We can come the day you call us.
We're 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
We make junk disappear. All you have to do is point.
Brian, I've been meaning to ask you something.
Okay, ask away.
Sometimes when we're talking, I hear a little sparkling sound.
Is it when one of us says, all you have to do is point?
There it is. Did you hear that?
That's the sound of magic happening.
Magic? Like we can come the day you call us? Wow.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
A noisy garage door is a cry for help. Hi, I'm Tommy Mello, owner of Don's Garage Door Service. Most repairs are simple, but if left untreated, they can turn into costly repairs. Your garage door works hard every day, and a little maintenance goes a long way. We fix garage doors fast with quality parts designed to last a lifetime. Over 90,000 five-star reviews don't happen by accident. They happen by putting people first. Fixing your garage doors is what we do. From repairs to upgrades, call Don's Garage Door Service today.
Enough already.
We can do more.
Enough already. We can find a cure.
Enough already.
We can do better for our kids.
Enough already. We are relying on you.
We can come together to support Children's Cancer Research Fund, a national nonprofit dedicated to ending childhood cancer that is on the front line of breakthroughs. Because
it's enough already.
Go to childrenscancer.org today.
Your favorite fan shows are available as a podcast. What a concept! And don't miss exclusive podcast content like Austin and Byrne. Listen on your schedule from anywhere in the world. Available wherever you get your podcasts. The Fan Poll is sponsored by JT's Pizza and Pub, home of award-winning pizza and 32-ounce Yingling drafts for only $4. We firmly believe it's appropriate to tailgate before a youth soccer game. You're listening to Fan Sports Saturday.
Yes, you are. Thanks to the Columbus Aviators and Tay Martin for giving us a little bit of time on Saturday. I know they're headed to Dallas to take on the Renegades tomorrow at noon. And I believe they're back at historic Crew Stadium for their fourth game of their inaugural season against the Dallas Renegades.
Yes.
So hopefully you're able to go 2-0, be 4-4 entering week 5 of their UFL season. So the NCAA loves committees. More so than they love billable hours. They love committees. An NCAA committee is scheduled to discuss potential changes to eligibility rules that would incorporate age into the process. So everyone's trying to figure out, guardrails is the word. How we put guardrails on all of this. The transfer portal, NIL, it's all over the place. There's no real rules here. We've got to figure something out. And I think with what you saw from Senator Tommy Tuberville earlier in the week was legislation that limits eligibility. Because I think that's the avenue they're going to go down, because you can't limit somebody and their earning potential, especially in a free market, where it has Jeremiah Smith this week saying, I could have made $10 million. Right. And when I hear that, I go, okay, Miami offered you $10 million, and that's low, considering what Jeremiah Smith is worth to a college football team.
Sure.
15 might be a fair number.
Yeah.
For him.
Right. It's the amount that he could make, and it's because think about this team. This team would still be good without him. But they wouldn't be good.
They wouldn't be must-see television for the rest of the country. You get always the people that watch Buckeye games because they hate Ohio State. With Jeremiah Smith on that field, you get everybody tuning in for Ohio State games. This proposal would give athletes 5 years of eligibility with the clock starting at the earliest of 2 dates, either when they turn 19 or graduate high school. There would be limited exceptions, but they would not involve injuries. So I think of Mormon missionaries.
Right.
Or I think of other familial situations that would not enable them to play college sports until maybe later, maybe 2 years post high school. I don't know, Tito, where you land on. I don't know if there can be any exceptions. I think you have 5 to play 5. I'm sorry if things don't work out. I'm sorry if injuries happen. I'm sorry if life gets in the way of things. But their exceptions leave the door open for lawsuits.
Well, they do, but I look at the situation with coaches. I'd commit to Ohio State. Why? Mm-hmm. Because Ryan Day, I can't wait to play for Ryan Day. Mm-hmm. After 1 year, Ryan Day leaves.
Yeah.
Okay. And you bring in a guy who runs a completely different offense.
Sure.
And all of a sudden, now he's bringing his guys from James Madison. And now I'm no longer where I was. Do I get to transfer?
Yes.
One time.
Once.
Okay. Then I go to another school. Because, Ryan Day went to Nebraska.
So I followed him to Nebraska.
After 1 year, Ryan Day says, you know what? I'm done. I'm going to go to the NFL. You're telling me I'm stuck there than playing for Matt Rule.
The hypothetical you threw out there's a wild one, but yes.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
But the coaches, though, they can move as many times as they want.
They sure can.
Kiffin, comma, Lane.
But someone still had to pay a buyout.
They did have to pay a buyout, yeah. Right. And maybe but I just don't know because.
You're trying to build, I understand what you're doing, is trying to build a fair system.
Right.
There cannot be one unless you make them employees.
Yeah.
It's the only way you can make this fair. And there's no interest in doing that. Here's Urban Meyer on his Triple Option podcast talking about this proposal.
I think there's a couple hot spots here. Eligibility is one of them. It's very near consensus of the people I spoke to in that room that it should just be a 5 for 5. The minute you enroll in a college, your clock starts, and the minute 5 years are up, you have to move on.
Why is everybody comfortable now with 5 years?
I think it's been that way for a while, and I don't understand how that has not been passed. Because what's happened, Rob, when you hear the word redshirt, it's to give people that opportunity to mature. Because the reality is at that age, some are very ready. The Jeremiah Smiths, there's no redshirt. Go play. The Joe Burrow, Terry McLaurin, they had the redshirt. They just weren't quite ready. But what happened is when I started coaching, it was 5 to play 4. But then everything started changing. They could play 4 games, 3 games, 25% of the season. And that's just too chaotic. And again, if you have a rule, you have to enforce it. 5 years to play 5 years and move on. And the only way you get your 5th year, which I believe is a great caveat, is that you have to graduate. So you get a degree, you get that 5th year.
I think my biggest holdup in this whole thing is the starting eligibility requirements, either at 2 years after high school or turn 19. What if you join the military, for example?
It's a good question. We'll try to answer that next. It's Sports Saturday on the Fan.
All the Ohio State conversation you can handle. The Buckeye Show.
Weeknights at 6.
Your Ohio State flagship station. The Fan.
Need a roof you can count on? Ramos Roofing has protected homes and businesses throughout Ohio for almost 20 years. Whether it's a leaky roof, storm damage, new siding, or new gutters to protect your foundation, Ramos Roofing delivers quality materials, professional installation, and honest service every time. Get your free roof or exterior assessment today and ask about Ramos Roofing's no-interest financing options. Call 614-761-7663 or visit online at ramosroofingohio.com.
I'm Jeff Hogan. I've been a journalist at 10 TV for more than 20 years. I moved back to Columbus with my beautiful wife and our 2 amazing daughters and our golden retriever, Harley. This community brought me back because this is where I feel connected. Where my daughters were born, this is my home. And that is to say, I don't just report about our community, I belong to it. What happens here affects us all. And that's why we care so deeply about getting it right. And when local journalism is done right, it doesn't sit still. It moves. It moves you to act, to verify, to volunteer, to speak up or lend a hand. It moves your mind by challenging assumptions and offering new perspectives. It moves you forward by giving you the information to make decisions and thrive where you live. And yes, it moves your heart through the kind of human storytelling that stays with you wherever you are. And at 10 TV, we're here for all of it. These are the stories that move Central Ohio.
He opens his toolbox before he opens his wallet and believes you can fix anything with 20 minutes and some pride. He's Mr. DIY, and when he needs metal, he goes to metal supermarkets. Artists, hobbyists, machine shops, maintenance professionals, and welders all count on metal supermarkets for over 8,000 metal products, shapes, and grades. If it's metal, they've got it or can get it for you. Cut to any size and ready fast. Visit the family-owned franchise on North Wilson Road or Columbus at metalsupermarkets.com.
Colin Man here for Hollywood Casino Columbus.
Oh, Mikey, did you know something new is coming and it's right around the corner?
What is it?
Now you can stay while you play. It's the all-new Hollywood Casino Columbus Hotel. It's coming June 12th, and we want you to celebrate with us as we open the doors with a can't-miss concert and festival.
And here's something for you this month. It's the Win Your Way drawings on select Wednesdays and Saturdays. You can score $100,000. Plus, coming in May, it's the Hollywood Tribute Concert Series.
Ooh, must be 21 to enter. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966.
Thanks to your support, the nonprofits VetTix and First Tix have given away tens of millions of tickets and counting to vets currently serving military, the immediate family of troops killed in action, and our brave current and former first responders. These tickets are a meaningful way to say thank you to America's heroes. And now we want you to be part of the mission. Got extra tickets to concerts, games, or special events? Or want to see if you qualify? We want you to go to vettix.org and firsttix.org today. Give something to those who gave.
Broadcasting live from the McDaniel GM Superstore Studios, driving excellence since 1916. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive. WBNS HD1 Columbus.
I'm Nate Puderwell with your sports update. It's moving day out at Augusta as we head into round 3 of the Masters. Rory McIlroy takes a commanding 6-shot lead into the weekend at 12 under after finishing 7 shots under par yesterday. Patrick Reed and Sam Burns are 6 shots back. With Tommy Fleetwood, Shane Lowry, and Justin Rose all 7 shots back. Rory and Burns tee off at 250. The CBJ return to the ice tonight, still cleaning the playoff chances there in Montreal tonight to take on the Canadiens. Puck drops at 7, catch extended fan coverage beginning at 6 o'clock. The Redlegs look to bounce back after getting crushed by the Angels 10-2 last night. They square off again at 4:10 this afternoon out at Great American Ballpark. And the Guardians look for some payback in Atlanta tonight against the Braves. Parker Messick set to take the mound for the Guardians today against the Braves' Martin Perez. First pitch comes your way at 7:10. Bringing sports news weapons of the Fan, Ohio Sports Destination.
Just because it's the weekend doesn't mean we shut up. This is Fan Sports Saturday.
Yes, it is. Rieser and Tito, you heard Nate there in the update. Just continuing our conversation about a new proposal, 5 to play 5 in college athletics. BP in the YouTube chat says the whole thing's not hard. Just do 1 to 5 year negotiated employment contracts. Mm-hmm. You're right. That would be, I think, the easiest way to solve all of this, is to make them employees. You have to show up to do a job at a certain time. You're compensated. But schools and the NCAA will never allow that. I'm done even trying to make the argument because it's the most obvious way to solve this. But they won't want to do that. And then so now we have to figure out other ways around it to at least create some sense of sanity with this. And Nate, you had a good question before we went to the break about maybe an exception to the 5 to play 5, because I'm team no exceptions.
It's not an exception to 5 to play 5. It's the starting point that I have an issue with, because the starting point they said was age 19 or 2 years out of high school. Why should you not have eligibility to play football? Like, take Brandon Whedon as a guy as an example. Didn't play football in college.
Sure.
Showed up at 23. Was good enough to be a starting quarterback in the NFL. Why should he not be able to play college football?
We did play professional baseball. And so my pushback would be you chose. You chose that avenue. And so your eligibility has expired. Because there's even Providence this week signed a G Leaguer.
Right.
The Providence Friars are going to be playing a professional, someone who played basketball professionally in the G League. So coaches are always going to be doing this sort of thing.
Or even something like I said before the break. You know, you join the military for a couple of years. You got to have the military. You go to college. You're 23. You're still good enough to be a running back. Why can't you play?
I would, in that case, say you chose. But then I would also look to the UFL and the NFL and say the avenue for you, if you're still good enough to play on a college roster, you might still be good enough to develop in the UFL if that were to become a valid track to the NFL. We had Tay Martin on in the last hour, Aviators wide receiver number 81. I don't think his destination's the UFL. He spent time with a couple NFL teams after going undrafted out of Oklahoma State. And I do believe a lot of these guys, they want to use the UFL as a stepping stone to the NFL. And I think it would make great sense if they all just got together and said, for some of those older players, if you're still good enough, come here, we'll develop you. If it's in great partnership, you can really improve everybody's life. And you can improve the quality of play, and not just the UFL, but in the NFL, because wouldn't the Cleveland Browns or wouldn't the Cincinnati Bengals like to have some of their rookies that just aren't up to snuff year one play spring ball? and then be on the roster in the fall if in case of emergency.
I am very good at bad analogies, but this is what I think about when you.
Did I have a bad analogy that was? It's not apples to oranges; it's oranges to other
you
citrus
said citrus fruit. You didn't say which
That's
one.
pretty bad.
You were trying to think of one, and you were trying to think of one that would fit, and you couldn't. But
other
that's okay.
citrus fruits.
That's
like
okay.
Limes don't exist.
You get bonus points. You used the word gaggle twice today. I did pick up on that. So
Yes.
that's good for you. But anyway, on the reason that they can't come to an agreement on this, the reason this won't happen. Okay, right now you've got all these McDonald's all over the world. And if McDonald's corporate says, we're rolling out this new burger, whatever they call it. What was the arch thing that I saw Bone eating online one time? Or it's like, what was the big arch? Is what called? You guys were talking about the recent burger? Never mind. What I'm saying, though, is if they want to roll that out.
The big arch.
The big arch.
A
Okay.
new premium limited time burger at McDonald's.
Right. They roll it out. Franchisees have to do it. Okay. Think about if every McDonald's like had a different name and they weren't all under the corporate. It's like, everyone do this.
Wait, are you telling us to imagine a McDonald's franchise that's not McDonald's?
McDowell's, something like that from Coming to America. Okay. So, but you're trying to get that passed through to everybody. Not everyone's going to do it because they're like, we don't really have to listen to you. We've got our own little thing over here. I know we bought your product and everything, and we do that, but we're not going to. That's the same thing with the college thing. You've got all the different. The SEC, they might have their own rule, which will be no rule. And then the Big Ten might do the same thing and no rule. There's no commissioner overseeing all of it. And there's no consensus because you can't govern Providence like you govern Ohio State and the Big Ten.
No.
You just can't do it.
I would think, too, if you don't want to make the players employees, fine. Then the coaches really need to be the catalyst for the change that they want to see. And it means the coaches like a Nate Oates wouldn't go looking for a Charles Bediaka.
Right.
Or whoever Providence's coaches wouldn't be looking from a guy from the Knicks G League system. The coaches, I think, need to take the ownership there, but it's tough to when their job is to win games, and so they will check every box available on how to possibly win a game.
Look,
we're just going to be doing this conversation again in 5 years because the coaches are unwilling to get together and hold themselves accountable. The schools are unwilling to make them employees, and the NCAA is unwilling to do anything outside of a tournament in basketball.
No coach ever gets a raise for morality. It's wins and losses. If you win and you just show some morality, that's a great thing. But if you lose and you've got all kinds of morals and standards, you're still going to get fired.
Yeah. You can be the nicest guy in the world, but if you're not winning games, gone.
You're done.
And you can be a not great human being, but if you're winning a ton of games, they might build a statue of you.
I think they probably will. In Kentucky, probably
if
UMass.
You win enough games.
Yes.
Why'd you put Kentucky and UMass together?
John Calipari.
I know. Does he have a statue at UMass?
If he does, it's probably on probation.
What they should do is have the NCAA come and pick it up.
That's what they should do.
Remove the statue.
Yeah.
If such a statue exists. Did you see what they're doing at Acrisure Stadium in advance of the draft 1 week from this Thursday?
No.
They took out all of the trees in the parking lot.
Did they really?
Yeah, because they're going to do like a big fan fest area. And
they
so
took trees out?
All of the trees around Acrisure Stadium they took out. And they're going to put them back after the draft.
All right.
But they've just got so many sets.
Yeah.
If you go and I'm not going to read it all here because it'd be the worst radio possible of just everything they've got in that area with Three Rivers Stadium. And you give like the Point State Park is going to have something.
Right.
The draft's going to be in Acrisure in the stadium, and they're going to have that draft stage. But yeah, the activations they're doing for all of that is nuts. I don't think you could pay me to go be involved in that. They're just reading names off a card, guys.
I know.
I understand it's huge for the city, and I get it's a great thing for Pittsburgh to have. But man,
I would love to go as someone with insider access, not just as a fan. You know, like I'd love to be able to go and maybe get backstage a little bit and kind of hang out and see some of that stuff go on. But yeah, I have no desire to sit like among a couple 100,000 people and just hear a name called off.
I understand though for the 16 draft attendees, it's huge for them because it's life changing.
Sure.
5 of those are going to be Buckeyes: Arvell Reese, Sonny Styles, Caleb Downs, Caden McDonald, and Carnell Tate. All probably gone on Thursday. Caden might float into Friday. But of the 16, you had those 5 Buckeyes that I mentioned, and Ty Simpson is the only quarterback that's accepted an invite. Fernando Mendoza is going to stay at home in Miami. Is Ty Simpson going to be the next? Who's the awkward quarterback that never Who's an awkward quarterback that never panned out?
Oh, I'm sorry.
You said it.
Okay, I was going to say
Aaron Rodgers panned out.
He panned out. Yes, I waited for a while there in the green room. There, Brady Quinn's was awkward. It was hard to watch. Did you see the Ichiro statue reveal?
No.
They revealed a statue of Ichiro at Seattle's field.
Yeah.
Anyway, and when they yanked off, it's an elevated one. Obviously, it's a higher thing. When they took off the cover for it, though, the bat broke a little bit. Like the bat he's holding, it's like you see it kind of flopping back and forth.
T-Mobile Park. I was about to say
T-Mobile Park,
Safeco, but it is not Safeco.
That's how we're getting old, though. We'll say these things. I think it was a Kingdom, actually. But they,
Probably.
the bat was flying. Like, the bat was, like, moving back and forth.
That's not lodged into place?
Something went wrong with the way they pull. I don't know what happened, but you see it. You see Griffey laughing his ass off about it.
Yeah.
And Ichiro was kind of trying to have fun with it also.
I think Griffey's at Augusta this weekend.
He probably is.
Because he's a credentialed photographer.
Okay, yeah.
There was a really cool feature that ESPN did last year of Griffey just trying to be a photog.
Right.
Understanding that he is Ken Griffey Jr., the sweetest swing in the game, but he's not trying to be that.
Right.
But you can't avoid that.
Yeah.
Everybody our age knows who you are. And that's Ken Griffey taking pictures.
Right, yeah.
I saw Soundgarden reunite at Lollapalooza like a decade ago, and literally one of the photographers was Randy Johnson, and he was the most noticeable guy in the world.
He's like 6'7".
Yeah.
Imagine having him just like duck and try to take video.
When the Dodgers had their home opener recently, they did something. First of all, just to give you a little context here, if you want to get a large fountain drink in a regular souvenir cup at Dodger Stadium, it's $12.
It's not egregious.
Okay. They were selling something, though, a limited edition Shohei Ohtani souvenir cup. And it's like it's a larger cup, and it's got a textured feel to it. It looks like his uniform on it. They were selling it on opening day, season opener, for $74.99. Now,
free refills.
Free refills that day. Now, they then realized all the backlash they got, and they lowered the price to $68.99 with unlimited refills for the season.
It's a cool cup. And if you're a Dodgers fan, that's a nice piece of memorabilia.
Shohei stuff always sells. Like they say his kids' books, the kids' book that he quote unquote wrote.
He wrote a kids' book?
Yes.
I didn't hear about those.
Anyway, that is it's called Decoy Saves Opening Day.
Oh, his dog, that's right.
They were sold for $25 each.
Okay.
And they were being resold for more than $1,000 now on the next market. These cups were going for like $250 to $300 on eBay. But yeah, so it was all the stuff that he does, it turns to gold if you can.
Yeah, I mean he's the star of the sport right now.
Right, yeah.
I was seeing this week the Masters and their concessions generate not concessions, but their merch sales.
Yeah.
They generate $277 a second. Is what's reported.
Insane.
They make $10 million a day.
Yeah.
The Masters is going to do in the 4 days $70 million in merch sales.
Wow.
$1 million an hour, $16,000 a minute. This from Joe Pompliano. That's $25 million more in merch sales 1 week than the Atlanta Braves did all of last year.
All without online.
All without online sales. Now I was looking at eBay because the Masters is doing a thing, and they've been doing it for I'd say 8 or 9 years maybe. A lawn gnome. And like every year has its own different type of gnome. And if that's something you're into, you can go online and get it on eBay for $750. And I wonder, is somebody or somebody's getting in the Masters lottery, getting the tickets, and just going and dropping money on merch, and then just leaving.
Right, yeah.
Like, honey, wait in the Kmart parking lot.
Yeah.
I'll meet you at the door.
Right.
You got to get all of this merchandise, and I got to flip it on eBay.
Yeah.
I can't imagine, especially a place like that, but it makes sense because that's everything else is sold like that nowadays.
It's insane.
Like the resale market is absolutely insane.
Get Shohei to autograph one of those gnomes. Then you were talking.
Do they do because I know at Muirfield, the Memorial does allow autographs.
Yeah.
And it's a good job out of anybody for only signing for kids.
Right.
But I wonder I don't think Augusta does. They don't allow cell phones. They don't allow. I can't imagine they, if anything, would allow autographs. How are things going for everybody not named Rory McIlroy? We'll give you an update coming up next. Sports Saturday on The Fan.
We have so many local shows, I can't fit them in a 10-second promo. So let's just say we're live and local all damn day. The Fan.
Spring cleaning isn't just for your house, it's for your life. If your job is getting old, it's time to clear the clutter and spring into IT. Go to My Computer Career.
My Computer Career helped me get the skills and certifications I needed to start a new life as an IT professional in months, not years.
Earn the certifications the top employers are looking for right now. Visit mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation to see if it's time to spring into IT. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
Hey there, friends. Bill Bishop here from my friends at High Bank Distillery Co. It's well known High Bank is my go-to when I want an award-winning whiskey, but did you also know that they make the best vodka in America? They have 3 incredible spots here in Central Ohio where the food is just as good as what's in the glass. They've got something for everyone, and get this, kids eat half off every Monday, so whether you're sipping on the best vodka in America or simply grabbing a meal with family and friends, High Bank delivers every time. Find a location and a menu at highbankco.com. Dine, drink, distill at High Bank.
Our yoga instructor challenged us to find inner peace. I found it faster than anyone. After 4 seconds, I stood up and screamed, "I found Nirvana! I win!" They asked me to leave. I guess they don't respect winning. Bet365 does, though. New customers get $200 in bonus bets just for betting $10. Namaste, losers. Bet365. Winning is everything. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-MY-RESET. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Ohio. T&Cs apply. In-app only.
James Laurinaitis here for my guys at Green & Sons, the premier Kubota dealership in Central Ohio. Green & Sons has all the Kubotas you need to tackle your land and come out a winner. They have zero-turn skid steers, tractors from 18 to 171 horsepower, and also utility vehicles. My favorite is my RTV Sidekick. The best thing about Green & Sons is they've been family-owned and operated since 1970, and you will love dealing with the Green family and their winning team. Do what I did and check out Green & Sons located in Mount Sterling and Marysville, or online at greenandsons.com for all your Kubota needs.
Some journeys start small, with small pause and big purpose.
Look how little you are, you sweet girl.
Every great partnership begins with the first step.
Bella, let's go.
Guiding them through the world so one day they can guide someone through life. With shared experience, confidence grows, and the path becomes clear. It takes time, patience, and love. But the reward lasts a lifetime.
Good girl, Bella.
You don't just raise a puppy. You raise a future. Become a Dogs Inc. puppy raiser. Give a dog a purpose. Give someone hope.
Learn more at dogsinc.org.
Need a roof you can count on? Ramos Roofing has protected homes and businesses throughout Ohio for almost 20 years. Whether it's a leaky roof, storm damage, new siding, or new gutters to protect your foundation, Ramos Roofing delivers quality materials, professional installation, and honest service every time. Get your free roof or exterior assessment today and ask about Ramos Roofing's no-interest financing options. Call 614-761-7663 or visit online at ramosroofingohio.com.
Get Eco.
ECO. Hey, Jerry, you know how we remind people not to be a sump pump grump this time of year?
I sure do. If people's sump pumps aren't pumpy, they sure can get grumpy.
And down in the dumpy.
But our $89 sump pump inspection can replace all that sump pump grumpiness with happiness.
Even if it doesn't rhyme.
Get Eco.
ECO. Our expert sump pump plumbers will make sure your sump pump is working to spec and ready to pump. We'll even do a camera inspection of your downspout drainage system to make sure there aren't any backups causing problems down the line.
And turn your sump pump grump into a flow-it-all, know-it-all.
Get Eco.
ECO. Jerry, I'm starting to think not everything we do has to rhyme.
But rhymes help people remember things they like, Aaron. I mean, you like hokey pokey, don't you?
I do like the hokey pokey.
Get Eco.
ECO. Eco plumbers, electricians, and sump pump technicians.
Maybe it was a family vacation or a school field trip. But there you were, standing in awe at a national park. We are the National Park Foundation, and together with you, we're creating a future where every person, every generation, gets their chance at an unforgettable moment. Today, tomorrow, forever. Learn more at nationalparks.org/foundation.
All your favorite fan shows are on YouTube, along with those fake YouTube ads like Chew This Gum and It Grows New Teeth. Experience the splendor of Bo sitting in his closet, Timmy Hall's gouty gold chains, and Matty Ice wearing a coat in 90-degree weather. It's all there. Head to YouTube and subscribe today. Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
It will be picture perfect today with plenty of sunshine and rather light winds. Temperatures near normal with a high of 64. Tonight, temperatures drop down to the mid-40s, but it is clear and calm. It will be warm and windy on Sunday, a high of 81, close to the record high of 86, and we'll see plenty of sunshine. We do expect warm weather to continue into next week. I'm meteorologist Ashley Smith on 97.1 The Fan.
There's nothing Bo Bishop can't do well, except find competent co-hosts. Bishop and Friends.
Weekdays from 9 to noon.
The Fan. Instead of annoying national people talking to you this weekend, we've opted for annoying local people. This is Fan Sports Saturday.
Yes, it is. You got about half the remaining field for the 90th Masters out on the course as it's moving day at Augusta, but everybody's kind of just looking up, playing for second. Rory McIlroy's got a 6-shot lead in this thing. Brian Harman's the only guy that's within spitting distance. He's +1 through 10 on the day, but 3 under for the tournament. Again, Rory McIlroy's 12 under. Patrick Reed, Sam Burns, 6 under. Burns and McIlroy will go around 250. You got the pairing of Justin Rose and Patrick Reed at 239. Rose 5 under. Tommy Fleetwood's also -5. He's going with Shane Lowry, also -5 at 228. But yeah, this is not what I would have. This is not something I think anybody saw coming. Like Rory being competitive this weekend, yeah, we thought he'd be hanging around by Sunday, not running away with it before Saturday.
Right. And I think he was like plus 1250 coming in. Because no one repeats.
Speed. Oh, it's only been done in
3 times, right?
3 times in history. You got the Golden Bear. You got Sir Nick Faldo, 89.90, Woods, 0102.
Yeah.
I think Scheffler,
yeah.
had the best, or was the betting favorite going into this week.
Yes, he was.
Trying to see where Scheffler is. He's even through the tournament. He carded a 74 yesterday. He actually should have just teed off.
Yep.
But I mean, that ain't gonna do it.
No. I mean, it would take
a collapse by Rory McIlroy, an all-time Masters collapse that you would when you think of Greg Norman.
Yeah, I would not. If Greg Norman calls Rory for advice, if I'm Rory, I don't pick up that phone.
New phone, who does?
Right. Yes.
I would think that the Schadenfreude in watching Rory fall on his face today and tomorrow is about half of the golf, half of the fans watching the Masters. The other half are appreciating the kind of excellence that you've at least seen through the first 2 days.
Yeah.
Because I'm on the side of golf needs a little bit more juice. It won't ever get to the apex that it was when Tiger was at his prime. But Rory and what he's done, siding with the PGA Tour against LIV Golf, completing the career Grand Slam, winning last year the green jacket, and then if he's able to do it again this year, you kind of need some guys to step up, and maybe you're kind of hoping there'd be a rivalry there with Bryson.
Right.
But his 3D printed driver failed him. He didn't even make the cut into the weekend. Maybe some Scheffler can sprinkle in some magic over the next 2 days. But you can try to recapture some of that.
Tiger was so good for the game of golf. I don't know if the run he had was great for golf fans.
What do you mean?
What I mean by that is he was a cultural icon.
Yeah.
Okay. And the way he was marketed, the way he went with Nike, and he was everywhere. And it was very popular and all that. But as far as the overall game, you were not looking for people who was going to win. You were just see if Tiger was going to win. And that's what I'm saying. And I'm not saying he's bad. Just golf fans, if you want variety, if you want to see different guys make their charges, if you will. I don't. There were so many golfers that tried. They say, "Oh, look at this, David Duval's going to challenge Tiger." You know what I mean? Oh, the VJ and Tiger. That's going to be a Mickelson. All these guys that come through. This guy's going to be. He's going to challenge Tiger. You watch, and they all just fell. It was domination.
They all had their moments.
They had a moment. Like, you know what? I really do think this guy.
Yeah.
And it just never. So I'm not saying it was great for golf. Great for the game of golf. Got so many people involved in golf. He made golfers so much damn money. They're still making a lot of money because of Tiger.
Yes.
Without Tiger, there's no LIV.
No.
The
threat of Tiger defecting, the threat of Rory defecting,
sure,
had purses increased on the PGA
Yes.
Tour had the offers from the Saudis to live golfers increase.
The elevated fields, elevated all that stuff.
Everybody's making more money because of that.
Yeah.
And it's a net good, I think. Because when I think for golf fans, because that's how I gravitated to golf. Like, I don't play. I'm terrible at it. I gravitated to golf because I grew up with Tiger Woods being the most dominant athlete. Full stop. Most dominant athlete.
Yeah.
There was nobody that was better at their thing than Tiger. There was nobody that you had to tune in to watch more than Tiger wearing his Sunday red.
Yeah.
The red and black Tiger is the final boss in sport.
Yeah.
And there have been others that can maybe, like Kobe, LeBron.
But Kobe and LeBron both, they follow MJ, who had a blueprint there for him already. There was no blueprint for Tiger.
Still trying to chase.
Yeah, there's no blueprint for Tiger.
Still trying. So McIlroy would be the collapse of all collapses. It doesn't feel like he's going to do that. It's gorgeous out at Augusta, 74 today. The conditions have really, really, really helped out the kind of golfers like Rory have great command.
Yeah.
The course is playing wonderfully for him.
I'd like to see Rory on Sunday do the reverse Tiger and come out with a black shirt and red pants. Let's do that.
Okay.
Let's just see what that looks like.
And just not even make it like, no, I planned this.
Right.
Would you rather have him say he planned it or be like, oh, I had no idea. I just put this on.
My wife laid this out for me.
Golfers have their stuff picked out at like Monday. Like you saw Jason Day's wardrobe was planned out on Monday. It was Malbon is the golf company.
Right.
And he had birds on several of his outfits.
Right.
They're all like Georgia birds. Oh, birds you can find in Georgia. And some of them don't look too terrible. But to your point of, now Roy comes out in the inverse Tiger.
Yeah. Payne Stewart was the best man to deal with the NFL. And he would come out wearing NFL gear, like NFL, the NFL, like the shirts, his golf shirts would have an NFL logo on and stuff like that. And he'd dress up in, if he was promoting the Steelers, he'd be black and gold, like yellow and black kind of thing. But he had to deal with NFL apparel, which I thought was pretty cool when Payne used to do that.
Chris asks in the YouTube chat, here's a question. If you were at the Masters, would you walk with your favorite golfer all day or just stay at a certain hole? Mr. Leaper says, I would try to split the first half walking around, the second half staying at a hole.
What day is it?
Let's go Sunday.
Sunday, I want to be where the action is.
Okay.
If it's Thursday, I'm going to sit at a hole and just watch everybody.
Yeah. I think I'm the same way, too. I'm golf specific. Thursday and Friday. Saturday, who's compete? I'm not going to follow the leaders because I don't want to be near that sea of people.
Right.
But then Sunday, I don't know if it's this Sunday, if it's tomorrow and Rory maintains a 5-6 shot lead going into the final round.
Yeah.
Is anybody, people are just going to be following Rory and everybody else is playing for second.
Yeah, it's
and those galleries will be
it'll be insane.
Action.
Yeah, in those things you've got to think ahead and you've got to try to get to the green before that player tees off if you're going to follow a certain player. You know what I mean? You got to try to find that and then and then always get ahead of them in the game. I learned that from going to the LPGA event out at New Albany a few years in a row with my dad. My dad was a huge Annika Sorensen fan. And so borderline like illegal. But anyway, no, just kidding, Dad. But we would follow Annika around all 4 rounds. And we would just get out in front of everybody and watch her make her hit. We'll watch her she'll be on the tee. We'll be about where we thought her ball would end up being, and we just followed her around 4 days. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
but I think at Augusta, I think I'd move. I think I'd move around.
I would try to hit every hole.
Yeah,
especially if it's a course I've never been before. Like Muirfield, I have a pretty good sense of.
Yeah,
but out at
I'd want to see the whole coast of Augusta.
Yeah. Have either of you paid any attention to the NBA? As they've got one more game left to play.
Did the NBA pay attention to the NBA last night?
So, to your point, every team was playing game number 81. 168 players is right now the count who missed Friday because of injury or illness. Now, these are 168 players that are supposed to be in the daily lineup for their teams.
Right.
And nobody for a lot of teams played. The Cavs, who lost to the Hawks, played 14 different players. Donovan Mitchell, Jared Allen have been dealing with nagging injuries, so they were out. But Cavs are already in the 4 spot in the East.
Locked in, yep.
And it's good for them because right now, the way things hold, they avoid Boston.
Yes, and they're going to play, in all likelihood, it looks like, the Atlanta Hawks in the first round.
Yep.
Which is a gettable series for them, I would think, yeah. And then you get the Pistons, who you're familiar with.
Yeah, the Pistons feel very gettable.
Yeah.
As the 1 seed. Cavs' last game is tomorrow, taking on the Washington Wizards. I laugh because also nobody's going to be playing in that game either. And I wonder, Nate, if that's good for the game. If that's good from a watchability standpoint where you have the final weekend of your season, most of the top seeds are wrapped up. You have a couple out west that could be played for, nothing really in the East. And so nobody plays and nobody does anything. And you're kind of just lost in, there's Masters going on. The NHL's actually very competitive into the final weekend. Here's the NBA. We'll do our playing on Tuesday.
Yeah, it's the tanking thing. It's just, I don't know. I need to find the article that Bodie referenced yesterday, but about a way they should do it where if you start your season, say with a large beer, draft beer costs, say, $15 at your event. And every time your team loses a game, you've got to decrease it by a quarter as the season goes on. Now, if you win, you get to add a dime to it. But every time you lose, though, so this Wizards game now, the games, if it's in Washington, I don't know if it's in Washington or not, wherever, is it in Washington? But wherever, if Washington's hosting it, though, you could probably go in and get a beer now for like 50 cents.
They might give you free beer.
Well, they may have to pay you to get a beer.
Yeah, the final game's in Cleveland.
Okay.
Like, was it Memphis that sat their entire team or something like that?
Denver
Doesn't that just go to prove that the NBA season is too long?
I think that's probably the biggest question is what to do with the length of the whole thing. Well, you're never going to give games back. I understand that because now NBC's coming back on board and you've got different masters to please. But there's got to be a happy medium here.
But even if you make the season 62 games, teams are still going to tank.
So
sure, but the teams that are competitive might still be competing for something at the end of the season. Instead of just, we're done, we have nothing to do, I'm not going to play anybody.
How important is Cooper Flagg to a franchise? I would give up a season. I would say from the beginning, I'm tanking.
The worst person I know made a really good point on this. I'll tell you who it was and what he said next. Sports Saturday on the Fan.
Last year, I had back pain radiating down my right leg. The pain was so bad I was willing to cut my leg off to stop the pain. I could barely walk and had to stoop over when I did just to take pressure off the spine. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. In my professional career, I've represented thousands of people who've had herniated discs and issues with their neck and back, but never fully appreciated what they were going through until it was my turn. It's like trying to describe colors to a blind person who's never had sight. All I can tell you is it hurt like hell, but worse. My daily walk was gone, and that bothered me a great deal. Then I thought of all of you and how much more devastating this type of injury could be for you. My life stopped. I now feel your pain. Just know at Morgan & Morgan, we got your back. I understand. Morgan means more.
Morgan & Morgan, Ohio office located at 600 Vine Street, Cincinnati. Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome.
I love Right Pack Credit Union because they're solution driven.
I feel valued as a member. They're focused on the latest technology and the personal connections.
Experience benefits that go beyond banking with Right Pack Credit Union. Just ask our actual members.
I definitely recommend Right Pack to all my family and friends as a credit union of choice.
Visit one of our Columbus area Right Pack Credit Union member centers near you. Based on individual members' experiences, results may vary.
How serious is youth vaping? Irreversible lung damage serious. 1 in 10 kids vape serious, which warrants a serious conversation from a serious parental figure like yourself. Not the seriously know-it-all sports dad or the seriously smart podcaster. It requires a serious conversation that is best had by you. No, seriously. The best person to talk to your child about vaping is you. To start the conversation, visit talkaboutvaping.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
If the sound of another man slammed against plexiglass turns you on, you've come to the right place. Proud to be your home for Jackets hockey. The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Sports talk, weekend style. You're listening to Fan Sports Saturday.
Hell yeah. Eric Rieser, Jeff Thidoff. Nate's with us as well. Draymond Green is one of those players that I absolutely can't stand, but would love to have him on the Cavs. And I know other people kind of have theirs. Like, I'm wondering for you, Tito, is there an athlete all time that you just hated, but if he was on your team, it'd be great? It'd be great to root for him. Hate him.
Current player, or can it be anyone?
Anybody, you pick.
Because I will tell you that as as a Celtics fan, for the first 7-8 years of Magic and Bird in the NBA, I hated Magic. Hated him. Only because it was Boston against LA, and there was a rivalry. So I've grown to love him. There's how many players. Like, I used to hate Charles Barkley when he played. Would have loved to have him on the Celtics back then. I hated Rodman when he was with the Pistons.
Hated Rodman. Hated Ben Wallace and those Pistons teams.
Yes, but
would have loved to have Ben Wallace.
Right. That's kind of the way I look at it. Those are the three that jump out to me.
Yeah.
When, again, Rieser makes me think on a Saturday.
Nate, you got one?
Brad Marchand.
Tom Wilson.
No, I don't want Tom Wilson on my team. Just Brad Marchand, because he will make the team better.
Yeah, so Draymond Green brought up a point about tanking and how to solve the tanking situation, because I think it does hurt ratings in the NBA, and I think it does hurt people who would want to go to NBA games, have to look at the schedules around them and be like, well, are they going to play this superstar? Is that superstar going to miss time? Now, there are superstars that are out legitimately with injuries. You look to the Lakers, you see Luka Doncic is out. He might not return for the playoffs, and the Cleveland Cavaliers have missed superstars over the past couple of years. They've missed stars. And Donovan Mitchell, who is a legitimate superstar, but he says you got to find him.
Yeah.
And NBA teams that you can prove tank, you got to find them. And he threw out 10, 11 teams that he's like, they're tanking. And he would know, having spent so much time in the league. And I think a lot of people know. I think so many. Some teams make it very obvious. Some teams are better at hiding it, but you still kind of look at the standings. You still kind of look at who gets put out there on a nightly basis. All right, that team's trying to tank. And I think you need to find some of these organizations. And Draymond's point was 11 teams are tanking, only 2 fines have been issued. You've got to almost double the amount that you're fining teams, and you've also got to make sure that every time you can prove that tanking happened, they get a fine. And you just fine them into oblivion. And I know there are some owners that if they truly, if you told me if Steve Ballmer and the Clippers and things weren't going well and they had a shot at Cooper Flagg, right?
Right.
Or they had a shot at Victor Wembanyama and they would tank. You could fine him until you ran out of paper to send the fines in on and he'd pay it. Some organizations are not that liquid. And so I do think it would deter a great amount of NBA franchises from tanking. You're always going to have those kinds of outliers in Steve Ballmer that can write checks for whatever.
Okay, but why? Tell me why you're fining them.
I am fining them for not fielding a competitive product.
Okay. Could you also say, though, that it's almost smart? Now, look, it screws the fans. I'm not arguing that. If you're a season ticket holder or if you bought a ticket for a game because, hey, I'm taking my son, when's his birthday? March 9th, we're going to this game. And you go there and everyone's sitting. It sucks.
Yeah.
But the Spurs benefited greatly by sucking to get David Robinson when they did, to get Tim Duncan when they did, and to get Victor Wembanyama.
Sure.
The franchise is better off because they sucked.
I agree.
And
I would also argue they didn't tank. They just sucked. And they were Greg Popovich was dealing with health issues.
Right.
And they never were able to hit on draft picks. They were never able to hit on acquisitions. And that was over a stretch of time to where it enabled them to get Victor Wembanyama.
But you can't, I don't think it's not prudent to try win at all costs.
I would argue in that point that what the hell are you doing?
Well, you're trying to get better. I'm saying like the Wizards, right? Let's say, okay, the Wizards have the worst record in basketball.
And they've had the worst record. They've had the worst attendance for most of I'd say the last decade. Like there have been pockets where they've been pretty good.
If they wanted to go to that second apron of the luxury tax that the Celtics tried like hell to get out of and did. But if they wanted to do that, though, and said, okay, we're going to take these guys. This guy is a former All-Star. Yeah. I know he's not that good now. He's way overpaid. We're going to show you want to win. We're going to take a swing and a miss. We're going to take a swing on this guy. And we're going to try to bring in 2 other people. We'll get fined like hell because of luxury tax stuff, and we're still going to be in the play-in game. Or are they better off realizing our team's going to suck this year? It's a loaded draft. One of the more loaded drafts in recent memory. So
then I would even take it one step further, and I would say you finish in the bottom 4.
Right.
And you don't get a ping pong ball. You can make the play-in, and you get a ping pong ball. Or you get more ping pong balls.
That's what I would do. I would take every team that didn't make the play-in, I would put it in reverse order I'd
say the play-in gets the ping pong balls.
Okay, play-in even that. Okay, but I'm saying whatever the best record is of the team that made the play-in or didn't make the playoffs, whatever, whoever's got the best record among all those teams that didn't make it to the actual first round of the playoffs, whatever team has that best record, they get the best lottery odds.
Because I think to the Indiana Pacers, who you don't have Tyrese Halliburton for a season, and so, you're going to go into the tank. I understand the thinking, but I think that's crap for their fans. That's crap for the league. I think it's a crap product you're putting out there.
Right.
So I think there should come some sort of a punishment, not here's a chance at whomever. I mean, this draft's loaded.
Yeah.
Here's a chance at Darren Peterson.
Right.
Yeah. That shouldn't be your reward, Sacramento or Utah, who put Jaren Jackson out to pasture early so he could come back for next season, and who just comically sat Lauri Markkanen for games because they wanted a shot at the kid from BYU to drive 45 minutes north of Provo.
Yeah, the band's up there,
That shouldn't be your reward.
Did you see what Giannis's complaint most recent with the Bucks about?
So he is the opposite.
Well,
the Bulls wanted to sit him, and he said no.
Well, why do you think Giannis wanted to play?
Because he wants to be traded.
I think Giannis, though, he's got a bonus in his Nike contract, I guess.
Oh, I did not know that.
And they didn't say what it was. They just said significant bonus if he plays at least 41 games. He played 36. So,
did the Bucks know that too? Because that would add to the. I mean, it's already pretty contentious, and that divorce is already going to be pretty entertaining,
right?
From a Cavs fan standpoint, also because I know the Haslams are part of that Bucks ownership group.
So Giannis though, and so he was always, I want to play, and then was I want to play with my brothers because his brothers were out there playing, and he wanted to play in the last game of the season. The Bucks already said no, you're not playing. So, but is it because? Is part of the reason Giannis is ticked off is because he loses out on this bonus from Nike?
Well, now that I know that, that's probably the first reason.
Yeah,
but I think he does want to play, and I think he does want to show that he is healthy, so that it's more appealing for teams to give up assets to get him.
Yeah,
because I don't know what the give's going to be to get Giannis.
No, I don't. Yeah,
I can only speculate at several of them,
right,
and then other things that's going to. I don't know if it reset the trade market in the NBA, but
would it be fun if the Mavericks got a top 5 pick and the Bucks traded him to the Mavericks for that pick?
What did Anthony Edwards get? Did he get 4 first-rounder picks? I'm just trying to think of ridiculous trades in NBA history.
Well, the most recent guy went to Orlando this past year. Desmond Bane. They got a haul for Desmond Bane. Memphis did, I believe. Was it Memphis? Right? They got Desmond Bane?
Man, Memphis has taken some strays here. Do you see LeBron crapping him on a goal? I get it.
I got it. Yeah, right.
I get it from LeBron's standpoint, but you need small market teams, and you need those small market teams to be good, and you need to encourage those small market teams to do what they can to be competitive with the large market teams, especially in a salary cap sport.
Right.
So yes, find them, and also say if you are tanking, Indiana, you are not allowed to do this. Put on a crap product.
Yeah.
And here's a top 5 pick in the draft. Here's a lottery pick. Here's ping pong balls. No, you don't get.
Think of it as a lottery. Think of it as a lottery. They used to do it. They used to do the thing where before they had the lottery, they took the worst team in the East and the worst team in the West and flipped a coin.
But I also think you have to. It's funny. We were talking about OTAs for the NFL, and maybe you don't make them optional.
Right.
Maybe you add some more mandatory work, and it's like, well, that also have to be collectively bargained.
Right.
And so I do think, to your point, like the lottery thing would have to be collectively bargained. I wanted to get to this with you, but poor clock management saves it for next. Carlos Lachlan, Ohio State's running back coach, on what this rushing attack's going to look like without having your ponies in the spring. That's next. Sports Saturday on The Fan.
If you consider yourself a Buckeye fan, you've come to the right place. This is your heritage sports talker and home of Ohio State athletics. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
At Great Lakes Hyundai, the savings are so good.
Spring into savings at Great Lakes Hyundai. Right now, drive your new Hyundai with payments as low as $94 per month for a 2-year lease. Get spring lease savings on every model from Elantra to Palisade. Plus, every new Hyundai comes with owner assurance and America's best warranty. A 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain coverage. Dublin or Columbus or glakeshyundai.com. With approved credit. Payment on 26 Elantra SC. $39.95 down plus tax title first month payment. 7,500 miles per year ends $430.
Coffee, sandwich, hash browns. Tired of the same breakfast routine? Time to refresh your morning ritual with a $6 Tim's Trio from Tim Hortons. It starts with a premium blend of freshly brewed coffee, a hot, savory breakfast sandwich made with freshly cracked eggs, and for a tasty twist, a daily baked donut to sweeten the deal. Ask for the $6 Tim's Trio. Your morning ritual refreshed. Only at your neighborhood Tim Hortons. At participating U.S. restaurants, must ask for offer. Medium coffee only. Terms apply.
grab me a new cross-match bingo from the Ohio Lottery.
Sure thing. You said match bingo cross?
No, the newest $10 scratch-off with prizes up to $500,000.
Yeah.
The ticket's so big, it's only sold at retail counters. The one with over $15 million in prizes? Cross-match bingo.
One cross bingo match coming up.
However you say it, Cross Match Bingo combines cash word, bingo, and match games all into one for even more fun. Lottery players are subject to Ohio laws and commission regulations. Play responsibly.
What can ADP do for small business? We help answer the business questions, like how do you track employee time? How do you do payroll taxes? Or what does compliance even mean? So small businesses can focus on bigger questions. Now florists can ask, can we invent another holiday to sell bouquets? Pizza shops can ask, how do we stuff a calzone into a pizza crust? And pool cleaners can ask, what is that thing in the filter? These are the questions you can focus on when ADP takes care of the business of your small business. ADP for small business.
There's nothing like picking fresh fruits, vegetables, and herbs from your own garden. They're fresh and taste better. Those delicious treats start at Oakland Nursery. Number one size blueberry plants start at just $9.99. Cool season vegetable plants start at $2.99 a pack. Asparagus roots, rhubarb crowns, gooseberries, strawberries, and more. And all of your favorite herbs too. Premium quality fruit trees start at just $29.99. Fresh fruit in your cereal and yogurt, fresh veggies in your salad, and herbs in your favorite dish. It all starts at Oakland Nursery.
Newman Roofing, as part of their 2026 Commitment to Community initiative, is proud to partner with 10TV and The Fan to relaunch Raise the Roof, honoring local heroes going above and beyond. We are calling on you to help us recognize the volunteers, educators, first responders, and everyday difference makers who are making a meaningful impact in your community to be recognized on 10TV and The Fan. Send in your nominations and stories to 10tv.com/raise the roof. 10tv.com/raise the roof. Nominate a local hero today and help us raise the roof for those who make a difference.
Family owned and operated. It isn't all sunshine and rainbows. This is Dennis Sullivan, president of Care Heating and Cooling. Here's something you don't hear admitted very often. When you run a business with your family, you don't always get along with them. We argue, we debate, we have real conversations about the decisions that we make. But at Care, every conversation comes back to our priorities, doing right by our employees and our customers. Because when you treat your team like family, they take better care of the families they serve. And when you treat your customers the way you want your own family treated, trust follows. That mindset doesn't always maximize short-term profits, but it builds something better, long-term relationships. Today, more and more local companies are being bought by venture capital firms, where maximizing profits often leads to a sales-first mentality. Care is still family-owned and locally operated, so we can keep people, not profits, at the center of every decision. Care Heating and Cooling. Call 1-800-COOLING when you need a company you can trust.
My mom is a veteran and she was injured in the line of duty.
I hurt my leg in a training accident when she was only 2 years old.
She had 7 different surgeries over the span of 9 years, and there were tons of complications.
I couldn't be the mom my kids needed me to be.
She missed so much.
After my last surgery, I got an infection so bad I thought it was going to kill me.
I told her she couldn't leave me yet. There was still so much she had to see. I hadn't even graduated.
I'm doing much better now. I may have lost my leg, but I've gained so much. I'm an active part of my kids' lives.
She can kick a mean soccer ball.
DAV's been there for me and my family. Through thick and thin, they've had our back.
Every year, DAV helps more than 1 million veterans like Sandy get the health and disability benefits they've earned so they can achieve victories great and small.
My victory is getting my life back. I got my joy back.
We got our mom back, thanks to DAV.
Support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
When you're listening to T-Bone and Tyvis, all the F words apply. Football, food, and fun, and fat, and furry. They both have beards. And they dress up like animals and hump things. T-Bone and Tyvis.
Weekday mornings at 6.
The Fan.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Columbus, Worthington, Air, and Bryant. Doing whatever it takes to keep you and your home comfortable. The Fan.
During weekend programming, pants are optional.
Look at my butt!
However, leather chairs may have been a bad choice. You're listening to Fan Sports Saturday.
So, along with an analogy there earlier in the program, I said it's not apples to oranges, it's oranges to another citrus fruit. I also said that Anthony Edwards was traded to Minnesota for 5 first-round picks. I kind of the same team, but I was thinking the Rudy Gobert deal. Right. He got 4 first-round picks in exchange. Minnesota sent that to Utah in 2022. Paul George got 5 first-round picks. I think and then there was another 5 first-round pick one, but that's if you're getting Giannis, it's probably 4 first, and then other things.
The pick swaps too. Then you also include pick swaps on that.
Those things don't even matter anymore. What does matter is on the ice tonight in Montreal. The Blue Jackets taking on the Canadiens at 7 o'clock. We'll have fan pregame coverage starting at 6. Thanks to Dylan Tyrer for getting up with us a little bit earlier. If you missed anything from the program, head back and watch it in the YouTube chat or wherever it is you do your podcasting. With Dylan, Tito, we're just trying to paint this turd gold because the Jackets are heading towards an all-time franchise faceplant.
And
I'm trying. We're trying.
I know.
And Dylan did a great job just trying to will this postseason appearance into existence. You're only 2 points back of the Philadelphia Flyers for third place in the Metropolitan Division. You're not getting the wild card. That's out of reach.
Yes.
But it means for today's purposes, and both of these games are at 7 o'clock, but the Jackets have got to at least pick up a point. So if you lose in overtime or lose in a shootout, Flyers are in Winnipeg taking on the Jets. You got to have the Flyers lose in regulation.
Here's my problem with logic, among many.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, so yes, you're right. If they miss the playoffs, it'd be an all-time faceplant. But what bothers me, Reese, is to think about how much joy this team has brought me, and to think about it as being a faceplant.
Yeah,
but I know you have to have one to have the other. I get that.
The bonus bump.
Yeah.
When he took the job in January 12th, and the run that they went on and how hard this team was playing was great, but it will all be undone, in my opinion, with the losing streak that started against the Canadiens.
I can say with a very straight face, I have done more work with the Blue Jackets than anyone here in this building over the last 27 years.
Yeah, that's fair.
If they faceplant, you have wasted my time again. That's kind of how I feel at this point.
And then the questions are who's back next season with this, right? Because is Rick Bowness coming back to do this again? You got several guys that can hit free agency. What's the contract for Boone Jenner look like if he does come back with this squad? I think it's very telling how Zach Werenski's answering a lot of these questions post-game from some of these post-mortems. That's your leader right there. Are you taking the C off of Boone?
Okay, so
are you going to pay him like the fourth-line center that he probably is in this point in his career?
You both agree it'd be the biggest faceplant in Jackets history, right?
Yeah.
What's second?
Last season was pretty bad too.
Well, last season though,
I don't know if I can compare this to anything. So
last season they didn't faceplant; they just were steady through it the whole time.
I guess
they overperformed though for the season last year.
Like a car running out of gas.
Yes, but they overperformed last season.
This was a faceplant.
But I can't think of another. Like I was trying to think then, because I can't say there's a bigger faceplant because I can't think of one off the top of my head.
They've all kind of been akin to last season.
They just are what they are. They're always either really bad or the 8th or 9th best team in the league.
All right, let's flip the switch here. They're going to make the playoffs. They're going to beat Montreal tonight. They're going to beat Boston at Nationwide tomorrow. They're going to be packed barns Sunday and Tuesday. They're going to beat the Washington Capitals on Tuesday. They're making the postseason.
All right.
We're going to will it. We're going to will this to happen because the alternative stinks.
Yes.
What doesn't stink would be to coach Ohio State's running backs. Mm-hmm. Now, Carlos Lachlan did a lot of work in recruiting these guys, and he was an absolute home run hire coming over from Oregon. Bo Jackson in his first year, 1,000-yard rusher. You saw pops of Isaiah West. You're like, wow, that's going to be great next season. They both are missing the spring with shoulder injuries, and that stinks because you'd like to see one or two of them pop one or two big runs in the spring game. Mm-hmm. But you'll have to wait on that because I think that's coming in the season. Here's Carlos Lachlan talking about Bo and Isaiah and what they're getting done in the spring despite not being able to practice.
They getting it. They're just not getting it physically, but they getting it mentally.
Does the back need that spring physicality?
I mean, they getting that in the weight room from Mick because Isaiah and Bo's biggest issue was last year was getting bigger, stronger. The weight room brings confidence. Both of them, they're confident. I think Bo's around 219, 220, Isaiah's 223. They confident. Now it's getting the mental aspect of the game. I tell the kids all the time, make knowledge your greatest talent. So now they're getting the mental part because they know what's going to happen. They've been in those situations. So having them bang in the spring for what, they had to have some things done this spring, but it was good for us because things happen during the season. I believe in every guy in that room. You know why? Because I believe in myself, and I'm going to pour it into them. So we ain't skipped the beat. Martin Luther King said this once, that you have two types of faith. You have an if faith, you have a do faith. Coach Locke got a do faith. though they might be out, guess what? I got faith in those guys' room. But I can see it every day say, well, if Bo was here, if Isaiah was here, that ain't the type of faith I got. I got a dope faith. Though they out, hey, that's right. We're going to be just fine. All right, and when they come back, it's even better. Instead of having those two guys, now you got 5 or 6.
I should have waited 3 minutes to play the audio because that's walk-off.
Yeah, no,
really? Yeah.
How are you and I supposed to follow that?
See, that's the Reese. I was going to tell you what a great job you did by going from such a depressing topic
to turning it around.
Running through a wall for Carlos Loughlin.
Right, but now you've screwed it up by giving us time.
That's all right. This is the thing everybody wants to talk about. And yeah, you're not going to see Bo or Isaiah. You might not see Legend Bay. He's also been out with some injuries. Just Carlos Loughlin talking about the sensational freshman.
It's exciting seeing a kid like that with that type of juice.
Yeah.
Some days I want to choke him because how he carries the ball, and it's some that he has to stay at it because he's used to playing quarterback. He is a tough kid, though. He's not soft, but I just like seeing that speed, that change of direction, because, you know, you can give him the ball, and next thing you know, he gone. So, but that's something that we need, and it's going to push the other guys in there as well. So I just like watching those type of runners.
Sucks there's only one football.
I know.
Yeah, I don't have the words because there's so much energy. There's so much enthusiasm there. And
he promoted Morning Juice also.
Did he really? Oh, because you had the juice.
Yeah. I thought he was talking about us. Maybe I'm wrong.
He was absolutely talking about you and Bob weekdays on YouTube and 10 TV Plus. And also the Fan HD3 and the Fans HD2. Right. Where aren't you guys?
Also, Facebook and Twitter live on the Fan app. Yeah, you can do all that right there.
Yeah, just don't ask you to make a poll question.
Steve, now we're not going to fight about this on the air.
It's not a fight.
I know.
There's no fight.
So are you in charge of it now?
No.
Who's in charge of it?
Top men.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Top men.
Okay. All right.
This Carlos Loughlin talking about the three we mentioned. Bo, Isaiah, Legend, injured. So how is he dealing with that?
No, I hear all the concerns. I have no concerns. I just smile every day I come into this building because I know what the room is. But, you know, adversity introduces a man to himself. All right? Every player, every coach is going to have some adversity. Spring, you expect that. Jacoby's been doing a good job. I'm excited by Favor Akeem. I know everybody hear me screaming at him, getting on him. But you talking about a kid that you can coach hard, that has the right mindset. And then, you know, the one kid that nobody talks about that helps us tremendously is Stanley Jackson Jr. He comes out, do his job every day. But I'm excited about this room. You talking about Bo and Isaiah should be better in year 2. And then, Turbo getting healthy. And Legend is Legend. That means that this kid got a chance to be really good. But I said the same thing last year about 2 other kids. That was Bo Jackson and Isaiah West. This kid got a chance to be really good.
He knows how to coach him. In your first year, Bo Jackson's over 1,000 yards rushing, and you're bringing back your offensive line, and then you think to add more with the talent that you've added. You're going to get great opportunity. And even with these guys being out for injury, you give opportunity for others that he mentioned, like an Anthony Turbo Rogers.
I need that guy for my alarm ringtone. That will get me up in the morning.
I need to wake the hell up.
Right there.
Carlos Loughlin. I don't know if those coaches can do cameos or things of that nature, but to do an ad from Carlos Loughlin would be great. We're going to see them all next week for the spring game. How much they play remains to be seen, but that's next week at noon right here on The Fan.
Bobby Carpenter demands that you watch Morning Juice on YouTube. If you don't, Tito will move into your house.
Live at 6 a.m. on YouTube